Good Tuesday afternoon, everybody. It's Tom Eamon here at the Beach Street Yacht Club, along with Julia Vadekent, my co-host, and the Commodore of this club. Nice to have you with us again, Julia. As always, we are doing our show number 866.
At 8s and 6s, as we said.
8s and 6s on two. Yeah, it's a lot of 6s. 16 September is the date. Hi, welcome to the show. We got Christopher Gillingham and Jane from Leamington, Alan Long from Lago Vista, Texas. Ed Vitrano is on up in the Delta here. Larry Kennedy in the FIDI, the Financial District of New York City, congratulating Paul Cayard, as we will do as well. Clayton Embley in the Wheelhouse.
Aha.
And I guess Kentucky, Blake Middleton up in Minneapolis, the land of 10,000 lakes. Welcome to all of you. Ed Worley checking in as well. And let's get on with 866 here. Still showing that starting slide by Danielle Forrester, that start from the Invitational Cup that wrapped up on Saturday in Newport, Rhode Island. Today's show at the starting line. Happy Tuesday, and Julia, happy National Independence Day to a popular yacht racing destination.
Aha.
You're looking askance.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out who it is.
Orca's on the attack again off Portugal. They sank a tourist sailboat off Cascais,
Yes.
and we have the video, Julia.
Oh, I haven't seen
The
video.
RYA celebrates 150 years, but have they lost the DEI plot? Mm-hmm. We'll see. Rolex, the New York Yacht Club Invitational Cup, San Diego Yacht Club repeats. They won again, but just barely. They had to dig themselves out of quite a hole on the last leg of the last race. Happy 83rd birthday to DC, to Dennis Conner, and a brief preview of next week's 6 Metre Worlds at the Sewanaka Corinthian Yacht Club.
Oh,
The Ocean Race Europe, the leg 5 is wrapped up. They've still got one inshore race, but Biotherm wins leg 5 into Boca Bay, and they have now won the whole enchilada. Their lead, short of getting jettisoned from the regatta, they have won the thing on the strength of the first 5 legs and those gates and so on. Jon Emmett's coaching corner. He's back at, he's not at Castle Cove Sailing Club. He's actually down on the farm today, and he steps in it again. And we're going to feature Paul Cayard at age 66, winning with Frithjof Kleen. The Star Worlds, Paul's second win. Last time was 37 years ago. Frithjof Kleen, Julia, was 4 years old.
I know, I heard him.
When Paul won last time, and he only won by 3 points. They came back in an amazing comeback on the last leg of the last race as well. Winners or grinners. We'll tell you who won Sail GP. Well, you probably know that. Maxi Yacht Rolex Cup, the IQ Foil U23s, and more. AC38 Cup date. It's basically crickets. But I do have something from Magnus the Magnificent, apropos the American Cup boat race. We have an AAAA from Alistair Murray. My Alistair, you have a big snake. Mm-hmm. And the huge OK Dinghy Worlds getting underway at Lake Garda. We'll feature that. Yesterday was race day 1, today race day 2. And of course, last leg this day in history, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, and of course, the chat with our Fozy. Rolling in here from around the world, Claire Harrington saying hi from Newport. She, the Vice Commodore of the New York Yacht Club. Alistair Murray says, yes, great start photo. Jamie Hutchison, who's one of our contributors today, produces. I should start calling, Julie, anyone who contributes to the show,
yes, a
producer. They're a segment producer or a partial producer of the show, not the coordinating producer like you.
Oh, no.
But we got something from Jamie today. Thank you, Jamie. Yep. Schaefer's checking in. Captain Jack from John Schaefer from the Ministry of Sailing in Annapolis. Rick Bannero, he's got a segment for us on Friday that's kind of cool. Ola from a very busy sailing corner of the eastern sailing scene in Connecticut. Peter Taylor, who's getting ready for the 6 Metre Worlds. He's in New York City. Christopher Gillingham, we mentioned. Alan Long. Congratulations to the J111 Skeleton Key in the Big Boat Series here. Yes, Alan, good thought. And maybe on Friday I'll play that Big Boat Series video. It's a nice Rolex video. I think you have the wrong CC. What does that mean, John? The wrong Hi from London. Andrew McIrvin is checking in as well.
Castle Cove, probably.
Castle Cove. No, he's at the farm. He's at the today, not at Castle Cove Sailing Club. You can turn the crickets off now. Okay. Thanks, Colin. Oh, see, these are the sound pads. And we have the finger wag video. We have applause. We have the crickets. We have the horn. And we have the scratch. I like the scratch, Julia.
Oh, hurts.
Huh?
That hurts.
Okay, enough for the sound pads. The nerds that we are. Speaking of nerdiness, this is show 866. And when I was trying to decide what to do as the lead, the LEDE lead for this show, and I realized it was show 866, I thought in honor of Cayard turning 66 and winning the Star Worlds at age 66, why not lead with Cayard? We could have led with a lot of different things. There's so much going on this time of year in the sport. Fabulous stuff, and congratulations again to Paul. But I should also say we got a note from Peter Selwyn down in New Zealand who said, one for you today. In the U.S., you write month, day, year. Most of the rest of the world goes day, month, year, as you know, Julia.
Yep.
So today for you would be 9/16/25, which is 3 squared, 4 squared, and
that's
5 squared.
That is interesting.
Oh, man. Carbon copy for those who were born in the 80s. CC, now I think he's talking about the coaching corner. Town. Yeah, no, I think I've got the right coaching corner. I just had the wrong comment there in the because he was at Castle Cove, but now he's down on the farm, the Engle. I can't remember how to pronounce it, but you'll see John's coaching corner in a minute. He is at the family farm, and thanks Peter Selwyn for that nerdy 3 squared, 4 squared.
I think that's wonderful. I've never done that. Yeah.
Huh? Wasn't that good?
Yes.
Okay. We are such nerds on here. Larry Kennedy also congrats Claire Harrington on what looked like a spectacular regatta, Rolex New York Yacht Club's Invitational Cup. Indeed. Captain Jack saying, stars the boats for normal-sized humans. There it is, the Imberhorn Farm, place where the raspberries grow. A little bit different report from John today from the Imberhorn Farm, his family farm there in the southeast corner of England. Julia,
sir,
what are we celebrating today? Well, what Independence Day is it, what country that is a popular sailing destination? Do you recognize the flag over the lady's head?
Italia.
No.
No. I should. Mexico.
Right. Well done. Mexican Independence Day, an important moment in Mexico's history, a celebration of freedom and resilience that unites people in colorful festivities and pride. Clark Chapin knew it. Chris Exley knew it. Indeed, it is the Mexican Independence Day and the Mexican War. And a lot of people think Cinco de Mayo was Independence Day, and it's not. That's kind of a made-up American holiday that had to do with something else.
It celebrates victory in a war.
Well, another war. But so this really kicked off. This date, the 16th of September, was the kickoff in 1810 of the Mexican War of Independence, an armed conflict and political process resulting in Mexico's independence from the Spanish Empire. It was not a single coherent event. What is in Mexico, Julia? A single coherent event. I love that country. But local and regional struggles that occurred within the same period and can be considered a revolutionary civil war. It was over 11 years.
Yes.
It culminated with the drafting of the Declaration of Independence of the Mexican Empire in Mexico City, La Ciudad de Mexico, on the 28th of September, 1821, following the collapse of the royal government and the military triumph of forces for independence. Not to be confused with the Cinco de Mayo, quite right, Rick Bannero, which is, I think, an invention of the American beer business, the Mexican beer business.
It was an unprecedented victory for Mexico.
Well, it was, but we turned it into, as Clayton Embley is saying, we turned it into an American holiday created to people who can get drunk, similar to St. Patrick's Day.
Absolutely.
Huh?
Absolutely.
Do you celebrate Cinco de Mayo, Julia?
Of course.
Well, don't we all? That's been a big holiday over at St. Francis Yacht Club, I know.
Yep.
A lot of people celebrate. But this War of Independence you know why? You know why Mexico was able to win that? Because Napoleon invaded the Iberian Peninsula, invaded Spain, and kind of distracted Spain from being able to fight the war against Mexico. At least that's what's popular online about the Mexican War of Independence. Cayard, 66 years old. But before we get to that, as promised, I do have this somewhat disturbing news. Thanks to the several of you who sent me the various articles, including this one from the Telegraph, where the headline is Orcas Sink Tourist Boat Off Portuguese Coast. Yacht was carrying 5 people when the killer whales attacked it near Fonte da Telha Beach. And a pod of killer whales rammed and sank a tourist yacht off the Portuguese coast on Saturday, just this past Saturday. The boat from the Nautic Squad Club was carrying 5 people when the orcas attacked it near Fonte da Telha Beach. Footage shows an orca repeatedly hitting the yacht before it starts to sway and sink, prompting one person to shout, as you would, "Oh my God." I mean, this isn't really funny, but it just keeps going on and on and on, and nobody was hurt, so I guess we can call it a bit humorous. All 5 crew members were rescued by nearby boats who were watching all this go on, by the way, shortly before their vessel went down. A second vessel with 4 people aboard also required assistance after encountering the same orcas off Cascais. Let's try to say that 5 times.
Yeah.
No one was injured. What? Yeah, orcas again, Clark Chapin. Remember we had that person on, Julia, from whatever the Cetacean Society is in the UK, who follows this stuff and polices this stuff or studies this stuff. Clayton Embley saying if killer whales did that in Texas, they would be going straight to the electric pool or the firing squad. Rick Banner, what's that? Okay, he's shooting for the Windcheck magazine. And back and forth. What else is going on? Peter Taylor and anyone else. This is a note from Andrew Pindar before I forget it. Peter Taylor and anyone else, Larry Kennedy, heading to the 6 Metre Worlds. We are moving quite a number of these beauties in and out of Oyster Bay. That's Andrew Pindar's company, his logistics transportation company. My colleague Diogo Diniz is coming in for a few days and would love to meet. He is guaranteed to offer to buy you a beer, given he passes me the bar tab afterwards on his colleagues. Okay. Clark, back on this the situation here with the orcas. Clark Chapin is saying the nearby boats were possibly taking bets on whether the orcas would be successful. Oh, my goodness.
Well, it was interesting talking to the guy before about that. They were playing.
Well, they don't really know us. They assume they're playing. They don't think that one of the whales' ancestors was killed by a boat, and therefore they're retaliating. But some people theorize that that's the case. But
following the leader, they are doing though.
But Julia, you'd think poorly of me if I didn't have
the picture,
have the video.
I know
the video.
Okay.
I'll leave the mics up so we can hear you commenting. You see the orcas already, and I don't know what the people on the boat are trying to do, maybe trying to avoid hitting them. Oops, see the boat gets lifted. I wonder how many there actually were in the water.
I don't know.
The boat's getting rocked around pretty good.
It is.
Yeah, that mainsail's a little crutonic, isn't it, Clark? I mean, I guess they're motoring. They must be motoring. And the whales, are they hitting the prop?
Yeah.
Is the ooh.
Oh.
Are they upset about the prop, the noise, the prop wash? Wonder what would have happened if he just turned off the motor. Steve Gruber says the latest theory on the orcas is that due to the reduction in overfishing in the area, they have more time on their fins and need something to do.
That's probably true.
Okay, now, when this boat started to go down, the other people who were videoing, taping this, must have swung into action because these 5 people were rescued by these surrounding boats. So we don't actually see the moment that the boat starts to take on water. Jon Emmett, ever the fan of foils. There we go, some alliteration. If he were foiling, they would have left him alone. Yeah, right. I mean, look, they're getting tossed around in that boat by these big animals. There we go. So the people now have been rescued.
All the sails are furled.
Yeah, that's right. They managed to furl the main up. Good point, Julia. Ted Ryman checking in from Cape Town. Rick Banro says they aren't going to outmotor an orca, but I'm sure they're hoping to turn some orca noses into sushi. Maybe. Jesus. Banro. So what do you think of that, Julia?
I think that's a great photo, and I'm glad I wasn't there.
Well, yeah, you and me both. But thanks to a number of you, but particularly the first one to send that in was Jamie Hutchison, who's the American who sent that in to me. Thanks, Jamie. I appreciate that. So we can lead, we like to lead the show with stuff that's happened since the last show of note or of import. And another thing that they're celebrating, and this is not why I put this segment in, but the RYA has a very nice video about their 150th, this sesquicentennial celebration. Here's the video before we get into their amazing DEI proclamation. Look at this.
As we celebrate 150 years, we honor our roots and look ahead to the future. It all began in 1875 when Frank Willan and 34 visionaries founded the Yacht Racing Association, introducing the first standardized sailing rules. In 1888, we expanded to broader maritime issues, advocating for safer, freer access to the water. In 1904, Mrs. H.G. Allen became our first female member, promoting inclusivity. International recognition came with the 1908 Olympic Regatta and the introduction of UK's K sail numbers in 1920. In 1929, we showcased our commitment to evolving the sport with a comprehensive revision of sailing rules. In 1952, we became the Royal Yachting Association, and in 1956, the Duke of Edinburgh became president. By 1961, the RYA had 1,000 affiliated clubs and over 13,000 members. The 1970s brought our training programs and our debut at the London Boat Show, igniting public enthusiasm. The 1980s expanded our reach with windsurfing and motor cruising schemes. In 1987, Princess Anne became our president, continuing the royal family's connection with the RYA. In the 1990s, the MCA officially recognized the RYA Yachtmaster qualification for UK-flagged commercial vessels, enhancing RYA training's reputation and driving its growth globally. Sailability launched in 1996, breaking barriers for disabled sailors. And in 1997, lottery funding revolutionized British racing, fueling Olympic successes with icons like Sir Ben Ainslie, Hannah Mills, and Giles Scott. Also in 2005, the Green Blue Initiative was launched, helping safeguard our coastal and inland waters. By 2010, RYA publications spanned 16 languages, reflecting our global reach. In 2012, we celebrated the London Olympics. In 2018, we delivered training in Mandarin across China and launched the Trinity House RYA Yachtmaster Scholarship to nurture future maritime professionals. In 2023, we hosted the Formula Kite Europeans in Portsmouth. Today, we champion sustainability with efforts to ensure cleaner waters and continue our inclusive mission with Together on Water. For 150 years, we've inspired and innovated, championing boating for all. With endless possibilities on the horizon, our journey continues.
Okay, bravo salute
nice.
to the RYA. Nice video. Yeah. If not the leading, one of the world's leading, I think they're the oldest national authority, member national authority, or I don't know who's older. U.S. sailing started in the early 1900s. There's probably some in Europe that are older than U.S. sailing. I don't know how long Alistair Australian sailing has been around or others. But nonetheless, nice video, eh?
Yes.
But then what in the... And I agree with Jon Emmett. John's saying, who's that AI voice? Why don't they... Why didn't they have Jon Emmett or Ben Ainsley or Hannah Mills or tell me who voiced that? Shirley Robertson. Have a Brit voice it, somebody who's a recognizable voice. I'm sure they would have done it for nothing or next to nothing, and it would have been much nicer than what sounds, I agree with John, sounds like an AI voice. But it's a cool vid, nonetheless. Nice going.
Yes.
Bravo Zulu to the RYA celebrating this year. I didn't know this until I just was researching the topic into which we will now go, Julia.
Yes, indeed.
And this is a correct or crutonic if I ever saw one or heard of one. So Jody Shields, I don't know if he's on yet. It's early his Wednesday morning in Sydney, but you've got to wonder what was on their minds, that is the Royal Yachting Association, when the Telegraph and any number of other publications in the last, in fact, this Telegraph article got picked up all over the world by various publications. And the headline is, "Man Overboard is offensive term," says the Royal Yachting Association. Yachting. "Inclusive language guide honors and values women and non-binary people within sailing." This is a guide put out, Julia,
Yes.
by the Royal Yachting Association.
Wow.
A DEI, inclusive language guide. The phrase, "man overboard," is an offensive term that should be avoided, the Royal Yachting Association has said.
Yachtsman.
Yeah.
Yachtsperson overboard.
Helmsman, all these things are bad.
Yes.
Sportsmanship is bad, Julia.
I know.
The Royal Yachting Association, this is an Australian website called DeMarge, I guess. Royal Yachting Association sinks man overboard for gender neutral terms. The RYA has ignited a fierce debate after call. This is an Australian website that's not a sailing website. It's a lifestyle website. It's ignited a fierce debate after calling on sailors to abandon traditional terms like man overboard and seamanship in favor of gender-neutral alternatives. Its new language guide recommends, quote, "person in water," okay, outside of emergencies, sporting behavior instead of sportsmanship, and replacing helmsman and mother duties with more neutral phrasing. The RYA argues these changes honor and value women and non-binary sailors, saying men have long shaped sailing's vocabulary and must evolve with the sport's growing diversity. Critics, however, see the move as political correctness, capsizing, I love this, political correctness, capsizing common sense. Uh-huh. How's that for alliteration, Julia?
It's a good,
you
it's
approve?
A doozy. Yeah.
So, of course, I went to the RYA's website, and they don't seem to be saying anything about it on their website other than this document that they put out. They're still calling it man overboard on their website. And lots of the websites and other websites and tell me who, newspaper articles around the globe are weighing in on this. The UK sailing scraps man overboard for gender-neutral terms, person in water. So I ask you, is person in water for MOB correct or crutonic, Julia?
I guess it depends on who's talking. I'm so used to the traditional that I stay with it.
Well, you as a woman, would you feel offended if you went overboard and somebody shouted, "Man overboard"? Help. Alistair Murray says RYA has done a sensational job of their training program. Yes, I hired the RYA's training director away.
Did you?
Yeah, Bob Bonds, to start U.S. Sailing's training program in 1980 or 81, sometime in there.
Yeah.
And then that's become U.S. Sailing's cause celeb, their raison d'etre. And they don't talk about yacht racing anymore. It's my fault.
I knew it.
Now, Alan Long is talking about Mr. Dr. David James. Let's see. He's got a comment. This strikes me as very narrow-minded. Perhaps they doesn't identify as a person on the traditional Western continuum. Wouldn't being overboard be more inclusive? Come to think of it, the term overboard itself seems to imply exclusion from the collective. I propose individual currently demonstrating agency elsewhere. The details can be thrashed out during the memorial service. Simultaneous broadcast in sign language required. Ted Ryman says it's croutonic. Alistair Murray says it's totally croutonic. Andrew McIrvin, if they continue with this nonsense, I shall resign. Fog Machine, LGBTQ plus EIDIO overboard just doesn't have the same ring. Ed Worley's asking us, you're saying, you have to be kidding me. He sounds like John McEnroe. You got to be kidding me. The first world problem of people with too much time and money in their hand. Male bitch overboard, Ryman. Only Ryman would say that. Don't worry about phraseology. Worry about saving the person. Tom, you need to change your name to Tom E. Person. Huh? I hadn't thought of that. I can't say E-Man anymore. I got to say E-Person.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there we go.
Rick Banner, it's nothing but virtue signaling. Cy Worley saying croutonic. Clayton Embley, after asking my crew on the ferry, they said we should put women and children in lifeboats first so that men can develop a solution to the problem. Just say. Croutonic. And I mean, it just goes on. Now, hello, Ken Saban in Toledo, Ohio. John Collings, it's just silly. Human overboard. Susie Jacobs, Beatty, change man overboard. Hi, Julia. I'm definitely lib, but think that's crazy to change. Well, a lot of others did too, including Mr. Doctor Andrew McIrvin. He was one of the first ones to weigh in as I was contemplating running this segment. And he said, definitely crouton. This was in a note back to me.
Yeah.
MOB, and this is a really good point from obviously a very smart guy. MOB is so ingrained in all safety instructions and equipment worldwide and buttons that you push on EPIRBs and that sort of stuff for the warning devices, the alarms. MOB, man overboard, just fatuous and potentially dangerous to change. Just fatuous and potentially dangerous to change. That's our super fozy Andrew, Mr. Dr. Andrew McIrvin. And another one, I went through a whole lot of comments on various Facebook pages, the idiot that I am, Julia, but I wanted to see what other people across the world were saying, sailors and non-sailors alike.
Right.
And this one from a James Wiley, whom I have no idea who this is. About 30 years ago when I was teaching sailing, we were having this discussion during a theory session. So apparently this is not a new issue. A woman solved the issue for us. Don't worry, she said. It's obviously man overboard because no woman would ever be silly enough to fall overboard in the first place.
Yeah, there she goes.
Huh?
Yes.
And that's Susie Jacobs Beatty agreeing with it.
Yeah. Yeah, she sailed more than her that's Mick Beatty's.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Julia, final word to you. Correct or croutonic?
Painful, but really croutonic.
Totally. Come on, RYA. You got better things to do in your 150th year, like going and winning Olympic medals and all the other great things that you do. Yeah. Bravo Zulu on your anniversary. Also, Bravo Zulu. We've got another one here, Julia.
Yes.
And you'll enjoy this one. Bravo Zulu, which of course is naval parlance, at least in this country, for well done. We got to congratulate everybody involved with this event, which we've been covering extensively. I even got a belt. Claire sent me a Rolex New York Yacht Club Invitational belt.
Wow.
I'm very proud to have that.
Yes.
And we've been celebrating this event since we had Claire and the PRO and the race committee chairman on, a week ago, Friday, I guess it was. This event was, as we would say in Michigan, it was a barn burner. It was right down to the final leg of the final race, which is another thing we keep saying on this show about having events with no throwouts. plenty of races, so things kind of even out if you have a bad one or you have an equipment problem.
Right.
Plenty of races, and count them all. It keeps everybody in the hunt right to the bitter end.
Right.
I like, Russell Coutts does that. He doesn't, they don't have any redress. They count all the races. They keep going.
Yeah.
They did it at this event, too, with 20 teams and 12 nations. Last week, it wrapped up on Saturday. And San Diego Yacht Club, you can't really say they came from behind because they were wearing the golden kite. The gold spinnaker gets it like in Tour de France. In cycling, the gold spinnaker gets assigned to the team that is leading, which is a cool feature because the rest of the teams then can look around. You'll hear one of the sailors say, well, we looked around for the gold kite and we could see where they were in the fleet. We knew they were back and we might still be able to pull out the win. Mm-hmm. So it's a nice feature. A lot of classes do this now. The Olympic classes all put a gold penny, a vest on the leading, the gold medalists in blue and red, I think it is. What are the other colors for silver and bronze medalists going into a given race? That's a good feature. But bravo Zulu to San Diego Yacht Club, who did pull it out. They snatched victory from the jaws of defeat in that last race, and their team themselves said, we've seen this movie before, because they they were winning, well, they won it last time, 2 years ago, and they were winning it before that in one of the previous events and managed to lose it at the bitter end. That thought had to be running through the minds. This is Stu Struley's text, I believe, from his press release. That thought had to be running through the minds of the 9 sailors on the SDYC team and their fan base watching the live broadcast back at home. And they had, Julia, a huge throng in the bar at San Diego Yacht Club watching the live stream, just like we do for Governor's Cup. Right. That's what we want the clubs. We do it for the clubs and the family and friends. And they had because I'm going to show you a comment we got from a Fozy who was there watching it. Yeah. So they had a big turnout watching it back at their home club down, that beautiful clubhouse down in San Diego. And as they found themselves in the blender at the top of the first beat of the deciding race, the 10th and final race of the 2025 Rolex New York Yacht Club Invitational Cup. In 2019, the team's first bid to win this prestigious Corinthian, meaning all amateurs on board, Corinthian competition came undone when they missed the ley line for the second windward mark in race 10. Was it about to happen again? Mm-hmm. Well, it was a nearly perfect day on Narragansett Bay on Saturday. The sun shone brightly throughout, and the forecasted sea breeze arrived on schedule at 1300 for San Diego, mired in the cheap seats for much of the race. It must have seemed like a dark cloud was following them around the course. The sun broke through, proverbially, of course, at the final leeward gate for San Diego Yacht Club. A boat that rounded just in front was flagged by the umpires, meaning they had to do a penalty, get out of San Diego Yacht Club's way, opening an exit lane. With Rick Merriman, who's one of the best sailors in this country, a 4-time champion in this event, locked in on the main sheet, and Adam Roberts picking the shifts. Skipper Jake Ladow guided his team from 15th to 8th in the space of one leg, pipping 8. I mean, Julia, 50, they picked up 7 places on that last leg. Yeah. Pipping Royal Van at the finish line to clinch the championship for the second time. Mm-hmm. So there is the Royal Hong Kong team, which was able to hold fourth place. They'd earned on the first downwind leg, and when Royal Vancouver finished just a few feet behind SDYC and the Royal Prince Alfred, your favorite club, Julia, it was Royal Hong Kong that moved into second in the final standing. So bravo Zulu to them. Royal Vancouver ended up finishing third. They had a good, strong regatta as well, both they and the Royal Hong Kong. So rounding out the top 5 were Corinthian Yacht Club of Boston, Marblehead, in fourth, and Royal Cork Yacht Club, the only foreign club to have attended all 9 editions, the only club other than New York, I believe, to have attended all 9 editions, finished fifth. The Royal Cork Yacht Club. New York didn't have the regatta it hoped for, finishing 9th, but ended on a strong note, winning the final race by a wide margin.
I'd forgotten that. Yes.
And indeed, they did. They had a good final race, and here is the video.
had a plan, went left, didn't materialize, struggled to get back into the fray of it.
We bore away, tacked out, ducked some boats, and just salvaged something safe. You know, we didn't want any fouls, we didn't want any circles.
To be honest, we came around the top mark and we knew that the right was strong. So we did a jive set. We came out on that side early on, the first boat out there, and we got the breeze and we knew that we were gaining. We were mainly looking at sort of trying to get ahead of Canada at this point, or Vancouver, because we couldn't do much about San Diego. Luckily they have the yellow kites, so it's quite easy to spot them, and they were quite far behind.
We had a really good exit out of the bottom gate, our last gate exit, and I think we passed probably 3 or 4 boats. I can't really look around too much, so this is what I've been told.
We had a plan. We executed the plan. Wasn't necessarily the right plan. And then when we realized that's what it was, we were just fought, and the whole team fought the whole way through, and it was the full go, and we ended up where we ended up.
But we were waiting for our tactician Adam to confirm it. Everyone was cheering, and I just literally fell back against the lifeline and was like, I had nothing left in the tank, and I just was relieved at that point.
Makes you want to be there, doesn't
I
it?
was going to say, yeah. Uh-huh.
Class act all around.
All
Such
around.
nice boats. Jon Emmett, it's about the storytelling. Alan Long, Ted Ryman, Chris Exley, excellent race and excellent coverage. Ed Worley, you mean that crew work really matters in yacht racing?
Yes, dear.
Coats and ties
Uh-huh.
in the tent down there on the front lawn
Yep.
at Harbor Court. One of the 2 tents. Look at that.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Nice vid. Good stuff. Bravo, Zulu. Congratulations, Claire, who's on here watching, and everybody else, your sponsors, and of course, Icarus Sports, who did the video. They had some technical problems. Claire is, she spent a lot of time talking with me and Gary Jobson and others over the course of the regatta about getting quite into the details of how to improve the telecast. They did have some technical problems, but all in all, and especially the videos that Icarus produces, because
Yes.
that's their forte. This Greek company that does that.
Yeah.
Great stuff. And Bravo Zulu again to the San Diego Yacht Club. We like to name the crew. It's Jake Ladow. I don't have any particular order here, but I do have the crew names. Jake Ladow, who we know well for many years, it was the skipper. Adam Roberts, the tactician. Rick Merriman, Anderson Ryder, Nick Martin, Cara Voss, Lucy Wallace, Max Hutchison, and David Dempsey. As Claire is saying, it was epic. Thank you so very much for your coverage and supporting our event. It's the least we could do, Claire. A better regatta than the Cup, Ed Worley says.
Yes.
And nice work. And the sailors, love it. They want to go back every year, year after year. Who can blame them? And then this note, Julia, from a new Fozy. He's been watching the show recently. He said, where have I been? I had no idea you've been doing this for nearly 10 years and 800 plus shows. Tom, I attended this event in 2021 when SDYC ended up just short. This event, in my humble opinion, is absolutely the best event showcasing truly amateur sailors and club competition in the world. We at SDYC, as members of other clubs, were on the verge of our seats all week and especially today. This is how a great event should be presented. That from past Commodore of the San Diego Yacht Club. He was executive director of Sail America when Dennis Conner won the Cup back in 1987. Sandy Purdon, HP Sandy Purdon, a longtime friend, and thank you, Sandy, for that note, and also thank you. He's made a contribution, a significant contribution
Oh, good for him.
to this show, Julia.
Great.
So we can pay our streaming fees for yet another month. Oh, my goodness. Thank you, Sandy Purdon. Great comment, and I think you go through and watching the YouTube videos I was doing, Julia, you were too, watching these races, and the comments are coming through from clubs around the world following their teams. It's exactly what we should be doing, in my never so humble opinion,
Yes.
about covering and coverage for our sport.
Yes.
Jon Emmett, it's hard to say any event is the best event. Yeah, we should celebrate all good events. But man, oh man, when you see this, it lifts your hearts. Just like all these other events. John's right. We got so much great stuff going on in our sport that why get too fussed about the one or two miss hits like the America's Cup? SDYC finishes on top with a 5-point win over Royal Hong Kong. The Royal Van was third. Corinthian Yacht Club, the Royal Cork. The Royal Swedish did well. They had a pretty, and maybe I don't know if this was their first time, but I think they were a newcomer fairly, if not this time, last time, the SSS, not to be confused with the Royal Gothenburg. Royal Canadian, who won it before, were 7th. Royal Thames, who I believe won it before, were 8th. And New York's won it on down the list to the Yacht Club Argentino in 20th, and I'm sure they had the times of their lives, Julia.
Yes, indeed.
Now, while I'm on San Diego Yacht Club, I thought we should move to this little recognition of DC, of Dennis Conner, who's 83rd.
My gosh.
He's catching up to you, Julia.
I know.
His 83rd birthday is today. He was born in 42. Happy birthday, DC. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. And here is a picture of Dennis on that beautiful replica yacht, America. Troy Sears' yacht, which we spent a lot of hours on ourselves. This is from 2010, a photo of DC. I may have even taken that photo. I was there and took a very similar photo, if not this one. I found this online. But Dennis, as you all know, is an American yachtsman. He turned 83 today. He's a 4-time winner of the America's Cup. Now, not as a team leader, but I mean on the yacht, on the boats that won, and was inducted into the National Sailing Hall of Fame, the first class, in 20, which was also at San Diego Yacht Club, by the way. I was there. In 2011, his notable achievements, in addition to winning the Cup in 74, 80, 87, and 88, he won a bronze medal in Montreal at the 76 Olympics. He won over 100 America's Cup trial races, Challenger selection, Defender selection races. He was named U.S. Yachtsman of the Year 3 times in 75, 80, and 86. And he, of course, has been inducted into the America's Cup Hall of Fame. And if you look at people who have been successful in the 3 major disciplines of our sport, small boats, meaning dinghies, America's Cup boats, big boats, meaning offshore racing. I mean, he was a perennial in the SORC and other major offshore events. And also the America's Cup high-level match racing. Look no further than Dennis.
Yeah.
Buddy Melgus won an Olympic medal, 2 gold medals, in fact. He won the America's Cup helming in 92, but he didn't do much offshore racing. He did a little bit here and there.
Didn't have time.
Well, he had time, but he didn't have the inclination.
Yeah.
So if you look at people who have done all 3 disciplines in spades, Dennis is right up there at the top. If not at the top, he is the top. And of course, as Fritz Mueller's pointing out, he was Star World champion at least once, maybe twice. And did he win when he won the Star Worlds? Clay Embley is saying, did he win every race? Yes, Dennis, I believe, is in New York for the 6 meters, 6 meter worlds, and we'll talk about that in a sec. In the meantime, how do you like this photo, Julia, from 2012? And I took the cup down to San Diego Yacht Club for the 25th anniversary celebration of Dennis's 1987 win. And there are our Fozy, 4 of them.
Yes.
John Sangmeister there at the top, and his sons Peter, Jack, and down on the bottom, young William, who's now off at college. 13 years later. And there is the celebrated Tom Whidden in the lower left corner. Now, I just want to note, I talked to Sangmeister for a minute this morning, Julia, but this event in 2012 was at San Diego Yacht Club. There was a huge turnout. I mean, it was not, you couldn't get into the main dining room. You had to sit all over the place, and they had good PA. As I said, I took the cup down there and sat with Malin, Burnham, and Roberta, and it was just a fabulous, fabulous evening celebrating the sport. And, of course, San Diego Yacht Club and Dennis bringing the cup back to San Diego Yacht Club and winning it after winning it in 87. Dennis gave a speech. Dennis not the best public speaker, but Dennis always says what he means and means what he says. That night, he had prepared the most beautiful and eloquent speech, not just for Dennis, but arguably the best speech I have heard anyone give at any such event in our beloved sport ever. He was gracious. He was kind. He thanked, appropriately the right people in the room, even people that he didn't necessarily get along well with. But I was talking with Sangmeister this morning about it, and he agreed. It's a shame nobody recorded it.
I was going to say, who knows what? Does he have a copy?
He probably has a copy of what he read, but it was more than that. It was the delivery. It was exactly. It was the way he did it, and I'll never forget it. And Sangmeister agreed it was just one of the most amazing moments in our sport. Blake Middleton made an interesting point here, apropos Dennis and Buddy Malgus and some of these other great sailors. Buddy had the fourth category, the Ice Boat Worlds.
Oh.
I don't know if Dennis ever did any ice boating, but that's a good point. No, Ed Worley, no, Julia, nobody recorded that speech as far as we know. And Clark Chapin is saying that in the 77 Star Worlds, after an 11th in the first race, Dennis ran the table and won the next 5 races. Remember, the Star Worlds is and has always been, since antiquity, a 6-race series, 1 throwout, assuming they get 4 races in. Yeah, Dennis is registered. Steve Gruber's confirming for the 6-meter Worlds that start on Monday. And Julia, finally, this one's for you. I put this one in because Dennis is being wished happy birthday by President Trump. This, if you believe that, you'd believe I've got a bridge to sell you. That is actually a meme done up by none other than John Sangmeister, but he's recognizing that when Mr. Trump, before he was president the first time, let alone now, you can see he's got on the wall a half model of Dennis's winning boat in 87. Do you know why?
Well, I know that he gave the ticker tape
exactly.
parade.
He gave the ticker tape parade down Fifth Avenue and did a lot more than that. He gave hotel rooms to a lot of the team in Trump Tower and yada, yada, yada. So there's that meme. Make the America's Cup great again.
Yay!
Says John Sangmeister, who's a member of New York Yacht Club and Long Beach Yacht Club and a couple of others. The 6-meter Worlds you all keep bringing up. Dennis is at Sawanica now, Sawanica Corinthian Yacht Club, as is his Spanish 6-meter. Yes, he's got a brand new 6-meter, custom built for him. And the international 6-meters are making an historic return to Sawanica Corinthian for their World Championship. I think the last time was back in the 80s that they held it. The Sawanica Corinthian 6-meters, as you know, Julia, there's a special place in that class's heart for Sawanica Corinthian. They've been a host for the 6-meter Worlds any number of times. It's a fabulous club there in Oyster Bay, Center Harbor on the north shore of Long Island. And there is their beautiful, fabulous clubhouse. The Open, there's 2 divisions. The Open and Classic 6-meter World Championships will run concurrently from the 22nd. Measurement started today, I believe. But it runs racing from the 22nd through the 26th with at least 30 teams traveling from across North America and Europe to participate. The crews from Greece, Canada, Germany, Sardinia, well, that's Italy, Spain, Switzerland, and France. The BVI, British Virgin Islands, California, the Pacific Northwest, and along the U.S. Eastern Seaboard will compete for 17 historic and prestigious trophies, including the stunning 6-meter World Cup trophy, which was presented to the class in 73 by the Puget Sound 6-meter Association and the Port of Seattle, because as you know, Julia, the 6-meters have been big up there.
Yes.
And here at St. Francis and at the Royal Prince Alfred Yacht Club.
That's how it was a gentleman from Seattle who said we ought to do something about this and make it truly international. And
Who's a member of Seattle of St. Francis Yacht Club as well.
Yes, but it was really the man from Australia and the man from Australia went to the 6 Metre Association.
Get it out. Come on, you can do it.
Yeah. And
this was the start of the British or of the Australian American Cup
Right.
that you and your late husband followed for many years. Well, this is going to be an epic championship because such is the resurgence of interest in the six at the current time that there will be 2 brand new sixes on the starting line for the world's Mr. America's Cup himself. DC will participate aboard his new boat, Ole Miss. Do you know why his boat's called Ole Miss?
no,
Well, I know the answer. That's a story for another time.
that's not fair.
Huh? Well, you know that's a college,
Yes,
right? Ole
right,
Miss is
right.
Mississippi, University of Mississippi.
Right.
University of Mississippi. It's a hobby sailor design launched in San Diego in late 2024. Ole Miss continues the recent trend of radical developments in the modern sixes, and it will be exciting to see her line up against the likes of Henri Andersen's Oiva, the reigning 6 Metre Open European champion, which was designed by Alan, so how do you say that? Savolainen?
Yep.
And built by Red Sky Yachts, launching a couple 3 years ago now. And of course, the new Ian Howlett boat. Now, the new Ian Howlett boat is called Eau Vive, right? Water of life. Is that what that means in French? Huh?
Yes.
You're the Francophone, Julia. Help me out here.
Yes.
And that new Howlett boat is for the reigning Open champ, Jamie Hilton, a longtime friend, New York Yacht Club member. He won a couple of years ago the Open division, and he has now got this new boat as well. So he should be competitive. And of course, another one of our FOSI, His Majesty, the King Emeritus, we might say, of Spain. Competitors will include the defending 6 Metre Classic world champion. Those are for boats of over a certain age. His Majesty King Juan Carlos of Spain, racing his beloved Bribon, the 1947 Arvid Lauren design, which was built by Plim in Sweden. Having won 3 of the last 4 Classic World Championships, His Majesty will no doubt be keen to claim the trophy again.
That's great.
Nice stuff, Julia.
Yes. Now, do we get to see it?
What's that? No, there's no live coverage of which I am aware. But between Larry Kennedy and Peter Taylor, both of whom are watching,
Yes.
and our FOSI, they're both working the regatta. Larry probably as a bimbo and Peter probably hosting VIPs and taking videos and pictures. He is going to interview people for us. He's going to take pictures for us.
Yay.
So it's good stuff.
And we can follow it online.
I'm sure you can follow it on the website, on the Sewanaka Corinthian. And
Yeah.
we'll cover it here on the show.
Yeah.
Racing's next week. Measurement, I believe, started today. Groover, I will be out so maybe Steve Groover as well will help us out. I will be out watching the 6 Metre Worlds in my powerboat. Good for you. Steve, help us out, please, if you would. Larry Kennedy says, indeed, the marks are all set to go.
Wow.
Claire Harrington's a good friend of Jamie Hilton, whom I've just mentioned, who's the defending champ, and he will be out sailing that new Ian Howlett boat. Fog Machine, I put together a video of the 6 Metre class racing off St. Francis a few years ago. It's been very popular on YouTube. Send us that video or a link to it if you would, please. Fog Machine, a.k.a. Lance Burke,
Yes.
member here of St. Francis Yacht Club. Howdy Toddy. Rainer Mueller, yes, Peter Taylor, who owns 30-plus 6 meters,
Wow.
he's actually the owner of this new Ian Howlett 6 Metre built for the event. That's the boat to which we refer, Peter. Mm-hmm. And Howlett boat is the one that Rainier built for Jamie to campaign. Correct, Peter Taylor. Saying Andrew McIrvin, I was at school in Oxford with Ian Howlett.
Wow.
And the Fuzzy Fozzy will be shooting there too. Rick Bannerow. Great news. So we're going to have plenty of coverage. Julia, your wish
Yes.
is their command.
Yay.
Huh?
Yay.
And Claire Harrington's also going to be there for some of the regattas. So we're going to have personal insights and we're going to have video. We're going to have pictures and we'll be covering it as well here. We'll probably not too much on Friday, but next Tuesday, for sure, we will cover this
Great.
event. Okay, should we look in on the ocean race, Julia?
Please.
All the boats, save one, had finished when I took this screen grab off a couple, 3 hours ago, and Team Amala was closing in. They only had, 9.5, DTF 9.5 miles, something like that to go when I last looked. So they have probably finished by now, all except Amala had finished. Biotherm, don't call me Biotherm,
Yes.
won this leg as well, won the scoring gates, and they have won this event overall.
Yeah, it's crazy. We just finished the last leg of our ocean race and we won the race. So it means that we won all the race.
I can't believe we won the last one. That's a great achievement. I'm really proud of the whole team. Nice.
I think this story starts 3 years ago. We sailed ocean race, maybe not all the team, but our part of the team. And so we get this knowledge and learning. We have skills in the team. And also this goal, Ocean Race Europe, was really present, was a really important goal since 1 year.
The plan wasn't to win that much legs. I'm really, really happy for the team, proud of us, proud of the short team as well. It's amazing. I'm really happy.
That's amazing because we know that we were first before the race, and we really wanted to close this race with a good shot. And we were so focused, and we really wanted to win this one, and we did it, and we won the ocean race.
We just want to show that we are just sailing, racing, and in the same spirit, same philosophy from Kiel to now. And so it was the best way to show that, to win the leg, but it was not easy.
Paul was a great leadership. I would love to be a leader like this. He's good. He chooses people. He's got true fin, and then he gives you a lot of responsibilities, a lot of space to explore, to work on the boat and on strategy, and he gives you a lot of confidence. And I think he does that with the team on shore and also with the crew. In that way of thinking and that way of leading.
There he goes.
Okay, you get I want one of those blow-up guitars, Julia.
Yes.
Those plastic guitars. I've never seen those before. I'm not quite sure what they are, but you get the idea. It was a lot of fun for all when they finished, I guess the night before last, wasn't it, by now? Or maybe last night. Good stuff. Bravo Zulu. With no surprise, they've led all the way in this event, and no surprise that they won this one. Let's go to the results. Biotherm by fully 14 points over Team Paprika Arkea. Wholesome PRB, who many thought would be the leader, or at least in the hunt, finished third. Alagrande Mape fourth. Now, there is one more race to go, so these little things, these close of these, well, second and third and fourth and fifth could change a little bit with that inshore race coming up. But it looks like our friends, Team Malizia, Julie, are down in the cheap seats. Canada not having a good event in what I believe is their first The Ocean race, whether Europe or otherwise, event. Hopefully they'll do better next time. And Team Amala celebrating that that development in Saudi Arabia in the Amala Yacht Club. But as Ted Ryman is saying, bravo Zulu, well done to Biotherm. Mm-hmm. And that is the results of the ocean race. I'm not sure we'll cover the inshore race, which happens this weekend, just to give everybody there. Is it this weekend? Maybe it's tomorrow. Not sure when, but you get the idea. That event is over, and I've enjoyed it. Have you enjoyed following that?
Yes.
A little something.
Yes. And one of the sailors said, we meant for this to be a good practice for us. And it was. And it is for the ocean race, which starts next year. Alistair Murray agrees with me. I don't like the high point score. Yes, I don't either. A couple of you said, well, then you can't give bonus points. But darn it all, you can give bonus points. You just have to subtract some points from everybody else. Come on.
Well, no, I mean, you can subtract. If, let's say it's low point scoring, and I have 5 points.
Yeah.
And you want to give me 2 bonus points. And then I have 3 points. People can understand that. You got a golfer, and he or she's got they got on their card, they got 72 on their card, and for some reason they get a bonus of 3 strokes, and they got a 69.
Yeah.
See what I did there, Julia?
Great mathematician.
I know. Well, I just went to a public school. I didn't go to Stanford. We've had this conversation many times before on this show.
I know.
Jon Emmett. Let's get to the coaching corner with Jon Emmett. Our Super Fuzzy Jon Emmett, and he is not at the Castle Cove Sailing Club, as I mistakenly said, up at the top of the show in the starting line, but he is at the Imberhorn Farm. Have a look.
Hey, Tom, Julia, and all the Fuzzy. Look, no hands. It's time for something completely different. Now, this could go horribly wrong because I'm not sure how obvious it is, but I'm in a rather muddy field. And this is the Imberhorn Farm ploughing match, something which has gone on for 77 years. And I'm keen that it will continue, even if there is some sort of development and stuff with the farm going forward. 77 years, and the first ever one was here. And that's something I want to continue. In fact, I think I should probably make a big fuss of the 80th edition, which is coming up. But yeah, we have proper ploughing here. I don't know if you can see, there's been a ploughing competition, and we've got everything from horse ploughs, 70-year-old tractors to brand new. Previously, we've had things like hedge competitions. You'll be able to see in a minute. Yeah, that's fine. You'll be able to see in a minute that we have a dog show. Mum's been a busy judge here for the crikey, she's done sausage roll testing. I think they have flower ranging Wellington boot competition, and I say that no ploughing match is complete without a dog show. And people have been doing tractor and trailer rides all up and down the farm. You can probably see in the back people are drinking beer. We have coffees, hot food, so it's not an ambulance. And this is something which is really important for the local community. And although obviously I spend most of my time being a sailor rather than a farmer, and it just brings me back to that grassroots, which is very much, oh crikey, lots of little people running in the background, the grassroots of anything, which is so important. So this is the farming community, but the sailing community is incredibly important because it's about inclusivity, and I will talk a lot about this on Friday because power is very close to my heart. Knowing, you know, people like the amazing Des Turner and what they do, I think we just have to support them. And there's only so many hours in the day, and there's only so much energy we have. Oh, we might get run over by a tractor. Oh no, it's going the other way. But to put our energies all into something which is very, very positive. And you need to look at classes and think, how inclusive are they? So a good example would be, you know, how many female sailors do you see racing at a World Championships? How many youth sailors do you see racing at that class's World Championships? How many poor M&As or poorer M&As are able to race at that World Championships? Because, you know, there's probably 15, 20 countries that they have the average wealth of the individual is significantly higher, and we want to make sailing as reach the broad audience as possible. And I say I always accept that, you know, not all of sailing is for everybody. Some people will love the close racing that goes on for a long time, and you have to push the water out the way. The trend I see more and more is that the modern boats get faster and faster, and people are generally going over the water rather than through it. Personally, I think, at least for the foreseeable future, something like the Orca has a really big place because it's just about being accessible. But having equipment that you can go on a plane and travel with you makes it so much easier. But here, hopefully you have a little taste of the farming community, probably a slightly smaller turnout than you would have originally expected. Just because it poured with rain, as you might be able to see from the muddy field. But it's so nice to see everyone here on my farm, Imberhorn Farm, having a lovely time. And yeah, there's more tractors here than I've seen in a long time. So this is now a sailing show with a farming problem. But if you haven't done so already, please like, share and subscribe. so fast, so safe, and go on a tractor ride.
Now, we could do a caption contest. a farming show with a sailing habit or something to that effect. Oh, my goodness. We got farming here on Sailing Illustrated, Julia.
As we should.
As we should. Jon is clearly, if you'll pardon the cliches, outstanding in his field.
We finally...
I got 77 years this has been going on at his family farm, and his mother, whom I don't know if we've had her on the show, maybe by tape, by video.
Well,
we've had pictures of her, though.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Great fun. Thanks, Jon. And by the way, I've got a video from him. This is a YouTube video. It's up on YouTube, and that's Hannah Stodel, with whom he has done a long interview, 8.5, 9-minute interview. And we'll run that probably on Friday. We're going to do a bit more of a focus on parasailing on Friday's show, thanks to Jon and others.
Good.
As we always like to say here at the end of his Jon Emmett Sailing, get to the front of the fleet, our regular Coaching Corner segment, but we like to focus in on Brisbane 2032 and this push that Jon and others have been leading, the Australian sailing, since our show in January, our last show of January 31st. The push to get Brisbane 2032, get Paralympic sailing in those Olympics as a demonstration event. And we keep reminding ourselves and everybody else that is a goal and an important goal. Get as many countries involved as we can, 30 plus countries around the world, and then start pushing even harder to reinstate Paralympic sailing into the Olympics via a demonstration event in 2032, which we hope will lead to a regular reinsertion into the Paralympics beyond that, Julia.
Yes.
So we'll keep working on that. Anything else here in the chat? Maybe the UK is looking for a follow-up to Clarkson's farm.
I don't know Clarkson farm.
Oh, they're talking about Jeremy Clarkson, who is the, what's the name of that show? It's a UK motorsport. It started out as a motorsport show.
I don't know.
And has devolved since. And Jeremy Clarkson, quite a hit in. Well, it's aired here. We see that show as well here. Somebody help me out with that. Do those tractors come with foils?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A furrowing contest, Julia.
Yes.
Not furling sails, but furrowing the rows to hoe.
Yeah.
On a farm. We could have match races, team races. You saw in the comment. Top Gear. Thank you, Lance Burke. Top Gear is the name of his show. It's on Netflix, Rob Fry is telling us.
Oh, good.
Look at that. You got smart people in San Francisco and in Auckland.
And I've never watched it.
Oh. It's a good show. It's a huge show. It has a huge following. Top Gear, then he hit a producer, then Grand Tour. Now Clarkson Farm, diddly squat, hardly if anybody followed. Yeah, he's got a bit of a temper. And maybe he likes to cocktail, I'm not sure. I wouldn't know about that. Yeah, Top Gear on BBC and Grand Tour on Netflix.
Okay, I'll look.
The people are saying, let's get to our feature. Our feature, of course, has been the Star Worlds. We were amazed when Cayard won 2 races on Thursday. He also is the class president. That previous shot from their opening ceremony in Split in Croatia, and the whole town turned out for this event. And as we reported to you on Friday, Cayard and Kleen won both races on Thursday and were leading the event, much to the astonishment of all of us, because Paul,
including him.
Well, I'm not sure Paul was astonished, but I think a lot of us were surprised that he was doing so well, including Magnus the Magnificent, whose story he wrote a marvelous, fantastic post on his Rule 69 blog on Blogspot. Cayard on Fire was the headline last Friday. The Grand Master and President of the Star Class Association has a stellar day in Croatia. This morning in Croatia, Paul this is Friday morning, he wakes up having posted 2 of the finest wins ever seen in the Star Class. I read this on Friday, but it's worth rereading. Yeah. In the Star Class against absolute world-class opposition, knowing that on discard, he is almost, not quite, almost untouchable in this championship. At the ripe young age of 66, Cayard is rewriting the history books 37 years after he stormed the podium and won in BA. 37.
I think that's so true.
And Julia, his crew then was only 4 years old. Frithjof Kleen.
I'm a great fan.
I know.
Forever.
He's your favorite sailor. Just admit it.
He is. I'm sorry to say.
Just admit it.
I admit it. I admit it.
Okay, so that was Magnus the Magnificent. And the pictures that have come out of Martino Orsini, who's been there covering it for the class, are just amazing. Magnus went on to say this may never happen again for Cayard, but what he showed today, last Thursday, was masterful. It was like AI sailing in an analog world. It recalled and paid tribute to the forefathers of speed, Elfstrom, Melgus, Connor, North, and Blackaller. It was an embarrassment of speed riches, a Babylon of excess, with the ruthlessness of a dictator at his peak. Julia, you love Magnus's prose, too.
I do.
Huh?
I do. Yeah.
Cayard is the man to beat, just as he was 37 years ago. I have a funny feeling that he's going to do it and do it in style.
As he would.
I don't know. I wasn't quite so sure. And that was Magnus the Magnificent, Magnus Wheatley writing last Friday on his blog. Well, the rest, as you know now, is history, because they went on to race Friday, and Paul and Frithjof had a mixed, Frida as he's known among the sailors, had a mixed day on Friday, and then on Saturday it was, he must have been pretty puckered, as Paul was. That's one of his favorite expressions. Who
was puckered?
Paul must have been pretty puckered. At the first top mark, it was Negri Lambertenghi leading, followed by home favorite Tansi Stepanovic with Tudor Billich, and the Italian duo of Enrico Chieffi and Nando Colonnino. Doyle in Infelice rounded fourth. Now, this is this young German team, under 30 team of Heuwinkel and Speer.
Oh, yeah.
They were fifth, and Kuznierowicz and Prada were sixth. Now, there's a list of some of the very best sailors in our sport today, full stop.
Yes.
Crucially, Cayard and Kleen were back in 14th, a dangerous position given the championship on the line. This is in the final race, the sixth race on Saturday. But the veteran pair showed their resilience, picking off boats on the first downwind leg to close the gap. They knew they had to limit the number of boats between them and their closest rivals, no more than 11 behind Negri when they finished, no more than 4 behind Doyle, who's the American from San Diego. I've done a cup or campaign or two with him. And 7 behind Kuznierowicz. So that's what was going on. And at the gate, the pressure mounted. The margins were razor thin. This is the end of the second leg. By the second top mark, the end of leg 3, it became clear they had done just enough. The buffer was narrow, but it was there. The championship was in reach on the fourth and final leg downhill to the finish. As Negri and Lambertenghi, powered ahead to win the race, followed by Stepanovic and Billich, Kuznierowicz and Prada, and Chieffi Colonnino. The eyes of the fleet turned toward the battle further back. Cayard and Kleen crossed the line in seventh, securing the title by a slim 3-point margin. There they are after winning, Paul and Frida. And after 6 fiercely contested races across the waters of the Split Channel, Cayard and Kleen have been crowned the 2025 Star World Champions, sealing the title on the very last leg, really, of the last race of the championship in one of the most thrilling finishes in recent years. And you know, we should also note that another good friend of ours and fellow St. Francis Yacht Club member won the Star Worlds last year, John Kostecki.
Oh, that's right, he did.
With Austin Sperry crewing for him, and Austin's been following all this. He may be watching the show as well. If so, hello, Austin, because he made some very kind comments about Paul and Frithjof. And remember, St. Francis members have now won this twice in a row, and Kostecki is no spring chicken. I mean, that guy's closing in on 60, isn't he?
Oh, yes.
Or thereabouts. So bravo Zulu to them and to last year's winners. And that was also last year, Julia, was a nail biter. That was down at San Diego Yacht Club, the Worlds, if I remember well. And here's the video.
2025 Star World Champions. Paul Cayard, Frithjof Kleen. What's the feeling?
Same as you're feeling. I mean, it's big emotions for sure. You know, really hard to believe. Hard to believe. We made it very difficult on ourselves, of course. That's kind of the way I do things. And but I have to say, as a team, we stuck together through the tough times, and that's what, you know, every team here had to deal with some tough races, and we had a couple yesterday and today, and we came back good because we sailed smart and we stuck together. So anyway, it's just very surreal to win again 37 years later.
It's not your first Worlds, but if that's the first one together.
It's our
After
first, of course.
4 years,
Yeah,
4 years.
I don't know if Frida was born when I won the first one.
I was born. I was
born?
4 years old. No, very nice, very special to be here. To win with Paul Cayard is something very special, of course. I want to say thanks to all our great team. We had an amazing coach, Regatta. We had Tonko, Marin, Jürgen, Pascal, Giovanni, it's all our training group. Karen, I mean, we had a really great group here to help us, and I think that's needed. So yeah, very happy and looking forward to the party tonight.
And Paul, you missed it by a little bit last year.
Yeah, well, we were third 2 years ago. Is that right? 3 years ago, we were third in Marblehead. Like Frida said, you know, every time we do a World Championship, our goal is just to be in the game on the last day and have a chance. And both last year and then 2022, we had that chance. And today we had the chance, but we sealed the deal. And that feels great.
Congratulations, guys.
We sealed the deal.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know how they got that video, and I don't know who the lady was that was.
She was commenting on the race
Throughout the event.
Yeah,
you were watching it live because their live coverage was not very good, frankly. It was, but she hopped on the boat and she got this video, and I was sent a couple videos by U.S. Sailing about the Championship of Champions, which Chris Rabb won, and I would have liked to put that on the show, but the videos were, they were basically useless, sadly. And Chris Rabb's a good friend of mine. He's just won the U.S. Sailing Championship of Champions, and I asked if the U.S. Sailing is going to feature this win, arguably, along with Kostecki's win last year, are the two biggest achievements by an American sailor worldwide in the last couple of years. And I wonder if U.S. Sailing will even cover this, because there's still, sadly, some bad blood between these two. And you can see them wearing their A1, their America One racing gear, as Ed Worley and others was noticing. And, Paul is still with America One Racing. The foundation is supporting our Olympic effort in a big way, and is going to continue to do so, much to the chagrin of a number of folks at U.S. Sailing.
But that's fine with me.
I know. I agree with you 100%. I manned a boat show booth at a show in San Francisco together with Paul in 1980, 45 years ago.
Oh, my.
J.K. was 60 last year, so he is. I said he was closing in on 60. Yeah. As Ted Ryman says, there is hope for us oldies yet. Well done, Cayard and Kleen. Well, I mean, the guy is fit, and the guy has kept himself fit. He's a horse, and I've known him, I guess, since 1980 or 83. Mm-hmm. But in any event, done a campaign or two or three with him. And bravo Zulu to both of them. Fantastic achievement at any age to win the Star Worlds, let alone for a second time, as Paul has now done. And bravo Zulu.
Yes.
Stuff all around. Any other points in the Star World? Still ranks first, in my humble opinion, in the sport of sailing. Yeah, it's hard to know. As I said in the preview notes for this show, and I posted it last night on Facebook and YouTube, I wonder if there is a tougher. In fact, Austin Sperry said this in one of the comments. Is there a tougher trophy to win in our sport? Arguably the America's Cup, for all of the reasons, financial and otherwise, strategic. It's very, very difficult to win, and not very many people have won that. But in all of the rest of our beloved sport, if you look at across the board, one design Olympic. I mean, I think that winning the Star Worlds is a lot harder than winning the Star Medal, the Olympic medal was, because, in the Olympics, there are only 20, 25 teams, 101 teams on the starting line. And the depth of the talent is astonishing.
Yes.
And I also just, before we leave this, I should say, too, that Magnus the Magnificent, when I didn't see it on Friday's show, but he said for once in his column about the Star Worlds, when I had gone on last Friday about why don't we put classes that attract the world's best sailors year in and year out, and Jon Emmett's going to argue, oh, no national authority wants it. I'm sorry. If any national authority worth its salt thought it was possible to get the Star back in because of the IOC and the world sailing politics notwithstanding, they would, a whole bunch of them, be supporting it. And that's why you get so many teams from so many countries. But even Magnus said in his wonderful post about the Star Worlds and about Paul last, whatever it was, Thursday, said, for once, I agree with Tommy. I thought we agreed on a lot of things, Magnus. Julia, I was hurt.
I would be.
I was hurt. He said, for once, I agree with Tom Eamon. But, the shout out was nice. So now I'm prefacing just about anything I say in the Fozy chat or here. For once, I agree with Magnus. And the Olympics, as Lance Burke is pointing out, and Clark Chapin would say the same thing, are now just a commercial endeavor, or not, if not a disaster.
Are the Star Wars Corinthian?
Star Worlds, no, it's full on open. It's always been open.
Yeah.
And the Olympics are open.
Yeah.
At least they have been of late effectively since the 70s. Fritz Mueller down in Miami saying Durwood Knowles, who was, of course, Bahamian, was podium material into his 80s. Good point. Mm-hmm. Good point.
Well, he's got a couple years to go.
I mean, arguably, the motivation will be lacking, I'm sure, for Paul after winning, although he is so competitive and hyper-competitive. Yeah. I would never count him out of anything, including, tiddlywinks over at the St. Francis bar. Not that he would ever hang out at the bar there, but, the guy was chairman of the board. He is giving back to the sport, and as several people pointed out, he is also president of the Star class. It's like Gary Jobson, who is, after doing U.S. Sailing president, being on World Sailing's board for 8 years as a vice president, is now rear commodore of Annapolis Yacht Club. You talk about a glutton for punishment. But bravo Zulu to all these sailors, and a lot of them who are our Fozy that are in the chat right now, who are good sailors, if not great sailors, and who are giving back to the sport each and every day, Julia.
Meet Paul Elstrom.
And Elstrom, who was also a consummate sailor and a major contributor to the sport, and on and on and on. Bravo Zulu, Paul, and Frithjof Kleen.
Yes, indeed.
We should also check in and recognize the winners of this fabulous event in Yacht Club Costa Smeralda that wrapped up also on Saturday, the Maxi Yacht Rolex Cup, and of course our super Fozy Andrew McIrvin, Secretary General of the International Maxi Association, had a lot to do with that because they co-hosted with YCCS. Galatea and Django 7X win the Rolex World Championships in the Maxi 1 and the Maxi Grand Prix classes, respectively. Oscar 3, H2O, Moet winners of the 35th Maxi Yacht Rolex Cup in the remaining classes. This is Dateline Porto Cervo on Saturday. The 35th edition of the Maxi Yacht Rolex Cup concluded with a final day of top-class sailing, followed by the traditional prize-giving ceremony in Piazza Azzurra, right outside the Yacht Club Costa Smeralda there. The Mistral wind blowing at around 10 knots, and at the start and strengthening to 18 knots with a northward shift by the finish allowed the two hard-fought windward-leeward races for the Maxi 1 and the Maxi Grand Prix classes competing in their respective Rolex World Championships. The remaining classes took on a coastal course rounding Caprera and La Maddalena counterclockwise before returning to Porto Cervo via Bomb Alley. It's very windy, Julia.
Yeah.
It's like Hurricane Gulch down in L.A. With Jennekers hoisted. There's a fabulous shot of Galatea. The Rolex IMA Maxi 1 World Championship was fiercely contested to the very end, with final victory going to the Wally Cento Galatea, owned by David Loishan and Chris Flowers, with America's Cup veteran Murray Jones, the captain, calling tactics. Galatea finished tied on points with the Far 100 Leopard 3, whose win in the sixth and final race was not enough to clinch the title, with victory coming down to Countback and Galatea's 2 race wins outweighing Leopard 3's single bullet. That's how close that was. Ooh. Third place went to the YCCS Commodore Andrea Recordati's Wally 93 bullet, just 1 point behind. The Wally Cento 5, which had led the provisional standings prior to the final day of racing, endured a decidedly difficult finale. A broken Jenneker in race 1 left her at the back of the fleet, and a 4th place in race 2 kept her off the podium.
Oh, that's too bad.
And Julia, courtesy of Rolex, here is another fabulous video.
Oh, good.
What a week at the Maxi Yacht Rolex Cup. Mistral conditions in Portugal, Sardinia, produced some spectacular racing, which at times tested the 47-strong fleet to the very limit. As always, the Yacht Club Costa Smeralda staged a program of exemplary racing that saw class-winning performances from Mote, H2O and Oscar 3. The regatta was also contesting 2 Rolex IMA World Championship titles. In the Maxi 1 class there was drama. Wally Cento V had been leading the regatta, but a late charge by Galatea saw them crowned as champions.
Super close. I mean, V was leading going into today and they end up 4th. That just shows you how close it is.
And the Grand Prix World Championship was equally fiercely contested. Going into the final race of the regatta, Django led the standings by just 1 point. Intense pressure from Bellamente brought the championship down to the wire. In the end, Django emerged as victors, claiming the World Championship title with just seconds to spare.
Millimeter, I want to say. It's not just a second, it's a matter of millimeters.
All 5 of the class winners were celebrated at the official regatta prize giving. Bringing to a close another memorable edition of the Maxi Yacht Rolex Cup.
Organized by the Yacht Club Costa Smeralda with the support of the International Maxi Association and longtime partner Rolex, this year's Maxi Yacht Rolex Cup celebrated its 35th edition and the 40th anniversary of Rolex's title sponsorship, which began in 1985. There is no finer yacht club. There's no finer place to race in the world. And it's no mystery why Yacht Club Costa Smeralda and New York Yacht Club, to name 2, are twinners, our reciprocal clubs. Alistair Murray agrees. Another great video, Rolex videos with a heart. Ed Worley saying, yes, they are stunning yachts, Ted Ryman and Alan Long. And Chris Fury and others mentioning Gordon Ingate, with whom I've sailed a lot of miles with Wingnut, whom I sailed a lot of miles, and he was winning 5.5 meter regattas into his 90s, and wouldn't be surprised at all if Dennis Conner wins a 6 meter regatta next week, Julia.
Yes.
At age 83. So we shall see. I also want to, just as a coda here, I want to note that our super fozy, Andrew McIrvin.
Yes.
Who I don't know how he herds those cats, how he keeps them all together, Julia.
It's great.
But he does, and bravo Zulu to him, because at the IMA dinner, Yacht Club Costa Smeralda Commodore Andrea Recordati was also presented with the IMA Yacht of the Year trophy after his Wally 93 Bullet. I wish you'd use capitals for yacht names, please. IMA, Andrew, note that, please. Won this prize for the 2024 season. The trophy for the 2025 IMA Caribbean Maxi Multi-Hull Challenge was also presented to Andrew Nisbet, owner of the Gunboat 72 Layla. And to think about people who are good sailors who are making major contributions to our beloved sport. You can start and finish with people who are in the chat, including Mr. Dr. Andrew McIrvin and Claire Harrington and Alistair Murray and many, many others here in the chat as our Fosey and Super Fosey and more. But wait, there's more, because we've been covering the U23 IQ Foil U23 event. This event wrapped up in grand style, and 2 Antipodeans won that. We've been talking about one of them all along at the championships that were in Portimao, also wrapping up on Saturday. And Alistair Murray tells me, I don't know the gentleman, I've not met him, but this silver medalist from 2024, Gray Morris, is apparently not only a hell of a good sailor, obviously, but he is a class act and a true gentleman, or so Alistair Murray tells me. And we're celebrating his win in the men. And then this is not who was leading on Friday. It was another Kiwi, but Stella Bilger from New Zealand came from behind in a bold tactical move during the second medal race, and she managed to pull off a win in the women's.
Good for her.
Stella Bilger and Gray Morris become the 2025 World Champions here on the final day in Portimao. Let's recap how it all went down. After a perfect week of wind, Portimao did not slow down, and soon enough we hit the waters for the final races of this event. First up, let's recap the women. In the women's quarterfinal, Nella Sadilkova took a gamble at the gate that paid off. She met up with Emma Milend for a drag race to the finish, allowing them both to qualify for the semis. In the semi-final, the race was super close up to the top mark. Stella Bilger, Emma Milend and Maya Gisler all converged there and went back downwind. Unfortunately, tragedy struck for Milend, who crashed on this downwind, leaving the door open for Bilger and Gisler to qualify for the grand final. Time for the grand final. Amy Bright took an early lead and managed to keep it together to win the first grand final. With her win, she forces a super final. In this super final, she was off to a great start again. At the bottom gate, her countrymate Stella Bilger decided to split off, allowing her to gain significantly on the upwind. Maya Gisler gave her a run for her money, but soon enough, Bilger was on the final reach. She crossed the finish line to become the under-23 world champion.
Stella Bilger.
So happy. It hasn't really sunk in yet. I'm kind of just, shaking from it all, and it's pretty cool. I mean, amazing venue to be here in Portugal sailing. It's just epic. Dream come true. Yeah.
Amy Bright finishes in second thanks to her first grand final win, while Amina Mobek completes the podium. Over to the men's fleet. In the quarterfinal, Emile Roulet went over early, which meant he had to start on a 5-second delay. Still, he managed to make up his losses during the race, coming over the finish line in second. He qualifies to the semi-final together with Federico Piloni, who won this race. In the semi-final, Duncan Monaghan was off to a great start. Unfortunately, on the upwind, he hooked into his harness line on the wrong side and crashed. Nacho, Baltazar Summers and Federico Piloni capitalised on this mistake and both raced ahead to claim their spots in the grand final. In the grand final, Gray Morris was off to a great start, but with a tactical mistake, he only arrived third at the gate. On the upwind, he made some ground, but underlaid the top mark again, losing some ground. Baltazar Summers and Piloni repeated their feat from the semi-final and saw themselves finish in the same order. Nacho now forced a super final in the men's fleet too. This time, Gray Morris clicked into gear and left nothing up to chance. With a commanding lead, he crosses the finish line and becomes the under-23 world champion.
For Australia, Gray Morris, our new under-23 world champion.
Pretty happy that I managed to finish the week off where in the position that I held for the whole week. So yeah, going over the finish line was mainly just a feeling of relief that it was all done right. So yeah, pretty happy though.
Leonardo Tomasini crossed the finish line in second, but thanks to his earlier win, Balthazar Summers claims the second place with Tomasini in third. That is it for this epic event here in Portimao. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.
This epic event. Oh, it's so exciting, Julian. It's good. The guy's enthusiastic. I'm sure the crowd that he's playing to loves it, and I'm all for it. And his commentary, the voiceover of that video, his style is great. He's not shouting he's not shouting and screaming. Somebody's written a good script. So bravo Zulu to both of them, and Gray Morris, who's been on this show via Alistair. Remember, Alistair did an interview with him after the Olympics.
Oh, that's right.
When he still had a silver medal in Marseille.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah, I agree, Ted. I like him too. I think the guy's good. And there's a little Stevie Morrison in that guy, but as Chris Exley is saying, but not too much. Yeah. Not too much. Not too much. Julia, what happened in this day in history?
Oh, it's hard to say.
Way back.
Way back.
Way back. Not as far back as Friday when we were back BC. This is 1620. On this day, 16th of September, 1620. It's a sailing-related day in history.
Okay, 1620.
There's your first clue.
Yes.
You recognize that boat?
No.
Does the lower third help? It's a painting entitled The Mayflower at Sea.
Oh, 1620, yes.
By A.S. Burbank of Plymouth, Massachusetts. I don't know when that was painted. I couldn't find the date. Pilgrims sailed for America. David James, my great-great-great-grandfather, left England. Mayflower arrives. No, it didn't arrive. It left, actually, carrying 65 passengers. Mayflower left London. Yeah, I had no idea it's a convoluted trip. They left London in mid-July 1620. The ship then proceeded down the Thames to the south coast of England, where it anchored at Southampton. There she waited for the planned rendezvous on July 22nd with the Speedwell coming from Holland with members of the Leiden congregation. Remember, these were the Pilgrims, and they had split off. They were arguing with the Church of England and everybody else. So there was a sect. There was a group that, because Leiden in the Netherlands was very friendly to all, didn't matter. They were kind of, freedom of religion was their thing in Leiden in the Netherlands. So there was a sect over there. And then they decided they'd all go to America and start afresh. Both some of the group from the UK, from England, and some of the group that were huddled up in not doing very well in the Netherlands. Although both ships planned to depart for America by the end of July, a leak was discovered on Speedwell, which had to be repaired. The ship set sail for America around August 5th, but Speedwell sprang another leak shortly after, which necessitated the ship's return to Dartmouth in England for repairs. They made a new start after the repairs, but more than 200 miles beyond Land's End. So they're well and truly out in the ocean, the North Atlantic, or the Irish Sea, I guess, but maybe beyond that. At the southwestern tip of England, Speedwell sprang a third leak. It was now early September, and they had no choice but to abandon Speedwell and make a determination on her passengers. This was a dire event, as vital funds had been wasted on the ship, which were considered very important to the future success of their ultimate settlement in America. Both ships returned to Plymouth, like the end of the Fastnet race used to be, where 20 Speedwell passengers joined the now already overcrowded Mayflower, while the others returned to Holland. I had no idea. When Mayflower sailed from Plymouth alone on September 16th, this day in history, 1620, with what Bradford the guy who was the leader of the pack, called a prosperous wind. She carried 102 passengers plus a crew of 25 to 30 officers and men, bringing the total aboard to approximately 130, which apparently for a ship of that size, I read last night, was the most amount of cargo per square foot, per square meter inside of a hold of a ship of that size. It was just unbelievable how they crammed in there. At about 180 tons, she was considered a smaller cargo ship, having traveled mainly between England and Bordeaux with clothing and wine, not an ocean ship. So she was plying the English Channel and beyond. Nor was she in good shape, as she was sold for scrap 4 years after her Atlantic voyage. She was a high-built craft forward and aft, measuring approximately 100 feet, only 100 feet in length, and about 25 feet at her widest, her beamiest point. This day in history, the 16th of September, 1620, the Pilgrims finally left Plymouth, England. And you can still see the Plymouth Rock today.
I've been on it.
Have you been on it?
Yes.
Stood on it?
Yep.
You mean the climate change and the global warming and the oceans haven't...
Oh, yeah.
The rising oceans haven't covered the Plymouth Rock by now?
3 inches lower.
I thought Miami was going to be underwater by now. Newport, Rhode Island was going to be underwater by now, Julia.
I just makes me think I have relatives who left in 1753.
From where?
England.
England.
And arrived with Franklin and his
Benjamin Franklin.
Benjamin Franklin.
Yes.
And arrived in Newfoundland, Pennsylvania.
Nice.
Yeah. The story of their crossing is like this.
Wedekind. Hirsch. I thought you're German.
Well,
your maiden name, family name is Hirsch. You know what that means in German?
I do, but
it's what we call you, deer.
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 But my family.
But a real deer, not a deer heart.
Is also my mother's maiden name is Peterman.
Peterman. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's not get any further into that. We might start making jokes about all your names. Clark Chapin, we've got a piece of the Plymouth Rock here in Plymouth, Michigan, where he resides, just to the east of Ann Arbor, where I grew up. Plymouth, England is oddly enough a sister city.
Isn't that nice to know?
So is it any mystery why they named it Plymouth Rock in Plymouth, Massachusetts when they landed? They took off from Plymouth, England. Mm-hmm. Plymouth. Enough of that, Julia. Let's get to an the promise at the top of the show, AAAA, from Alistair Murray. Alistair's awesome Aussie anecdote. And again, a little different from most of his anecdotes. We've got the farmer today, and now we've got the tourist. Alistair Murray checking in from, do you know, Julia, where that is?
Not unless it's Metung.
It's not Metung. That is Byron Bay, Australia, in the northeastern corner of New South Wales. It is the easternmost point of mainland Australia. See if I got that right. Byron Bay, just south of Gold Coast and south of Brisbane.
Yeah.
And well north of Sydney on Australia's east coast. And that is where Alistair was, the most easterly point of the Australian mainland, with his wife Tracy.
Yes.
There's a famous lighthouse there, and the views are breathtaking. I looked at these are pictures from Alistair, obviously, and these are fabulous views. He was there with a pile of friends having a bit of a holiday. He said, I'm retired. Just because I'm retired doesn't mean I can't go on vacation, especially with friends.
Exactly.
So that's where he's been for the last week and having a ball.
G'day, Tom, Julia, and all the Fozy. This is Alistair with AAAA, Alistair's Awesome Aussie Anecdote, brought to you from Cape Byron, from Byron Bay in New South Wales, northern New South Wales. And man, is this a beautiful place. I'll do a little bit of a spin around here. If you're lucky, you might see some whales frolicking in the background over my shoulder because I've just been standing here watching them. But otherwise, I'll just do one full circle, show you the beautiful scenery, and just let you know that I'm on the easternmost point of mainland Australia, and it's great to be here. You know, I am retired, but I still need my holidays. That's what I'm doing right now, and I've been spending it with my wife and friends. So, message today, before I get started, big shout out to Frithjof Kleen and Paul Cayard for winning the Star Worlds. That was an absolutely amazing achievement, so I'll add to the chorus of congratulations for that. And secondly, to my young mate, Graham Morris, who won the IQ Foil Worlds. He is not only a gun of a young sailor, but he's a hell of a nice young bloke. But I thought I'd just talk to you about boats today, because that's what the show's all about. I'm pretty excited at the moment because I'm getting a brand new boat this week. I woke up early this morning and couldn't get back to sleep because I'm like a kid expecting a new bike or a new toy. And I just thought I'd talk to you about buying a new boat. So, think about it, I thought I'd also put the challenge out there to the Fosey to ask how many boats you've had in your life, because it gave me, of course, to think of the journey that I've been on, and I thought about my boats and my cars and my bikes. There's sort of three things that I've enjoyed. And I think, and I thought back on it, I thought, I'm actually pretty close, I would say, to having owned 18 boats, 18 cars, and 18 bikes. I reckon that's about my score. And since I started cycling a bit later than the other two things, that works out at about a car every 3 years, a new boat every 3 years, and a new bike every 2 years. So what are your numbers? Love to know. But my new boat. So I'll do a reveal later in the week because I'm expecting it to arrive this week in a container from Europe. And I just thought about, I talked to you about the thought process that goes into buying a boat. A lot of boats sit on marinas and they sit on moorings and they don't get used. The worst thing you can do is buy a boat and don't use it. So what you really need to do is think about what you want from your sailing. And there's different stages of your life when you want different things. And right now for me, the things that are important to me, I think as an old dinghy sailor, I like simplicity. I don't want plumbing, I don't want electronics, I don't want toilets I don't use, I don't want stoves I don't use. I just want pure sailing. I like something fast, something modern, something clean, something I can enjoy looking at, something I can sail with my wife so it's relatively easy. And that, from that point of view, something relatively small as well. So that's pretty well my criteria. Small, fast, good looking, modern, simple, and a joy to sail. So you might be able to guess what the boat's going to be. I'll leave that up to you. I think Jon Emmett might already know, and Chris Fury might already know, so don't let the cat out of the bag. But I'll do a reveal at the launch party, which should be later this week, and I'm looking forward to the next chapter in my sailing career. I'll continue racing one design. I continue to own a powerboat as well. I love being on the water, and one of the great things about being retired, being at the end of your career right at the beginning, is actually have the time to get out and enjoy all of that. So, what is it? Have fun, sail safe, sail fast. Signing off. It's great here in Byron Bay. Cheers, folks. Bye. See ya.
How nice.
You can never have too many boats, cars, or bikes. Claire Harrington agrees a lot of it. People would think he's going to get a Melgus 15, something small. Must be some kind of an offshore boat.
Yeah, I would think so.
Small, simple offshore boat, wouldn't you think, Julia?
Yeah.
I think, Alistair, if you're watching still, Chris Fury, who knows, says, my lips are sealed. J something, Fritz Mueller's wondering. Congrats, Alistair. Fantastic view. Enjoy your new ride. By the way, Peter Taylor's been to that lighthouse. He says, sadly, without Alistair, but he's been there. He says, a fabulous point of view. I saw, I've not been, but I saw it in the pictures as well, Peter Taylor. Ted Ryman, a lot of wealthy people live in Byron Bay. Hollywood stars like Chris Hemsworth and Matt Damon spend a lot of time there. But I thought it was interesting because that's just down the shore from Brisbane and the 2032 Olympics. So maybe if we're all lucky enough to be alive and kicking and there in 2032, still a ways off, right? 7 years, we might get to Byron Bay. So it's nice to see a little preview from Alistair. Cool AAA. Once again, Alistair, thank you very much. But wait, it's not over. There's more. Because we talked about, what a big snake you have, Alistair. He sent that photo in addition to the others.
Oh, my.
And that could be a caption contest. But what I was going to suggest, Julia, what we really need for the FOSI is a caption contest for the name of the new boat. Not a caption contest, just a FOSI poll. So when the new boat comes, now maybe he's going to name it the same as all of his, I don't know if he's used the same name for all of his previous boats. But that was his final photo that he sent, and I thought we should include that. There's Alice.
What it is?
Well, he's on. He's saying it's a, you mean the snake?
Yeah.
Well, let's back to the snake in a second. He says it's a keel boat, but not offshore. By the way, we saw one of the Hemsworth girlfriends, cuter than my boat. Alistair, what kind of a snake is that? Tell us in the chat. And did you wrestle that snake? What'd you do? Baton Rouge is guessing an RS-21. My, what a big snake you have. Name the boat, Tracy. Always the right move. Peter Taylor says, naming it after his wife. I don't know what that snake is, Julie. We'll see if Alistair replies in the chat. It's a diamond python. How dangerous is a diamond python, I wonder? Do you know, Julia?
I think they can be.
Do you like snakes?
No.
You know, Clark Chapin knows this. Growing up, my sister Ruth, number 2 of the 5 kids, my beloved sister Ruth, who took care of my mother in her last year, and my sister Ruth is a saint forever and more. She has a farm, and she has every animal, I think, known to man and woman on that farm. And it's a working farm. She has cow and sheep and ducks and turkeys, and she raises these things. She does all this organic stuff for all of her friends and beyond. We grew up, speaking of constrictors, Fritz Mueller in the comments, we grew up in our home, the 5 kids and my mom and dad, and my sister had a menagerie. We had dogs, German Shepherds, we had cats, but my sister always had a boa constrictor. You would have loved growing up in our house, Julie, a boa constrictor.
How did that happen?
Well, I don't know. She got this snake, and my mother, I think my dad looked the other way and said, whatever turns her on. And my mother knew that my sister loved animals, was good. So we had this boa constrictor in a big kind of an aquarium tank, obviously without any water in it.
Yeah.
And Clark will remember this because on Friday nights, the snake got fed once a week. And you had to raise mice to feed to the snake. So my sister would raise mice. And on Friday night, if we'd have kids over. Hey, come on over and see the snake. Get fed.
Time.
Or if my parents had a party, they'd feed the snake during the party. Ted Ryman says that Alistair's an Aussie. They just bite the head off and barbecue it afterwards. Bush food tastes like chicken.
Sounds like you've done that.
Oh, my goodness. Just one other note before we leave Alistair and his AAAA. The Australian Sailing Male Sailor of the Year has been announced. David Chapman, who is a member both of the, I believe, of the Cruising Yacht Club, but also of he's from Tasmania, the Royal Yacht Club of Tasmania. He's an accomplished Australian sailor with a diverse background in various yachting classes, including match racing, the SB20, Dragon, and Etchells. A member of the Royal Sydney, not the CYCA, a member of the Royal Sydney and the Royal Yacht Club of Tasmania. He has won numerous regattas and championships, such as the SB20 Worlds, the Hardy Cup. I remember him winning the Hardy. I don't know the gentleman, but by all accounts, the Polish match racing champ, by all accounts, he is a top bloke. He is an absolute stellar person, Julia. And
terrific.
Mark Husted and others sent that to me and said, hey, you ought to celebrate this guy. And I checked with Alistair Murray, as one would do, and he said, absolutely put it in the show because he is top notch. So that is nice. A nice feature to end Alistair's awesome Aussie anecdote for today. Clark Chapin says he remembers the tale of your mother going from pet store to pet store in Washtenaw County to purchase mice so that the proprietors wouldn't find out that they were being used as Purina snake chow. Julia, my late great mother. Clark remembers these things. So, yeah, the Mighty Chapo, apparently this guy is known as. Chris Fury and others who know him. Thanks, Alistair. It's always nice to have your AAAA.
Yes, always good.
Julia, everyone asked for a cup date. Well, I'm going to give you a cup date because I'm going to go back and play it again. Crickets, Julia. Crickets. Huh? I turned the crickets up just a bit.
Yeah. Just
crickets. Yep. And I will, however, say that Magnus had to write something. He's covering the cup. He works for Mr. Dalton. At least I assume he still does. But he's got to say something about the cup. So in his Rule 69 blog today, maybe it was posted yesterday, I saw it this morning, America's Cup decisions. Teams have a short runway to make very key decisions, which is absolutely correct. Magnus, for once, I agree with you. Magnus the Magnificent. After every America's Cup, he writes, you look back on campaigns and with the aid of massive hindsight, it becomes quite clear where everyone went wrong and where the winner went right. Tom Slingsby spoke about, quote, decisions taken 2 years ago, unquote, when he exited in American Magic, ruining the missed chances to cover because the team didn't have enough oil pressure. The chances to cover, meaning in match racing covering, because the team didn't have enough oil pressure to do more than 3 tacks in quick succession due to their recumbent. Remember, they had the recumbent cyclers leaning back. Well, that's true. You're making decisions now that win or lose the America's Cup, and that's always the case. So that's why having this terribly short cycle. And now teams just finding out about what the class rule is. We told you about that on Friday. And remember, Team New Zealand has been writing the class rule, presumably with the agreement and the help of the Brits, but who knows? Probably their team's been writing it since the end of the last Cup. So they got a big lead over the other teams again. Not only that, but Team New Zealand has said, we got to use the same hulls as last time, or if you don't have that hull available to you, you got to design a hull to
those specs
of an old hull. This is crotonic beyond belief. This America's Cup continues to go down and down and down the proverbial gurgler, Julia. And I can't find anybody, with the exception of, Magnus is trying to put a lipstick on this pig, and he wrote a nice article. And for once, I agree with him. I can't help myself, Julie. It's just unbelievable. You are well practiced with the crickets. They are indeed on point. Well, that was Magnus writing it. It's a good article. The whole thing is good. But here, this next America's Cup is starting in less than 2 years. We still don't have entries. As far as I know, we still don't have a protocol because they haven't agreed this America's Cup partnership. Presumably they've extended the 9 September deadline, but there has been nothing said about the extension if it's been done. Nothing about entries, nothing about entry dates. Please turn the crickets off. No, I'm using it as background music for this whole thing. Okay, that's the America's Cup report. Don't you like the crickets?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Okay, we've got a terrific event, another terrific event taking place at Garda. It started yesterday. They had their first race, started a couple days before that with measurement and so on, but yesterday was day one. I don't know what happened today, but it is the largest OK Dinghy Worlds apparently ever. 250 boats from 18 countries.
Wow.
And Nick Craig, who's the defending champ, starts the defense of his world title with 2 solid race wins yesterday, Monday.
Wow.
The 2025 OK Dinghy World Championship began on Lake Garda on Monday with 2 races in sublime conditions. This could have been written by Magnus.
Yes.
It was written by Robert Deves. That left everyone with smiles from ear to ear, albeit with sore legs and tired bodies, with 3 groups, 2 races, and 6 starts. They break that big fleet into 3 groups.
Yeah.
There were 2 standout performances, with defending champion Nick Craig taking 2 race wins and fellow Brit Andrew Mills also taking 2 wins. The other 2 race wins went to Canada's Ben Flower and Sweden's Niklas Edler. What a fabulous venue for another fabulous class. You remember Alistair was there with his Cayard Worlds, and we covered, I don't know how many events on Garda of late. Day one, Monday, that's Andrew Mills, who also had 2 bullets. Bravo Zulu to him. It has heralded the start of what is lining up to be a tough week on Garda. 212 dinghies, OK dinghies from 15 countries are taking part in a 10-race, 5-day series that will become a standout moment for the class, indeed. To add to the competitive level, around 37 sailors out of the top 40 sailors from the current OK Dinghy World Ranking list are taking place. I mean, they got all the stars are there, making this probably the most competitive OK Dinghy event ever held. The winner will be a true world champion.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the results are tough to find, but again, if you just ask, I've become a big fan of ChatGPT, Julia.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many times I resorted to it for this show, probably half dozen, maybe a dozen times. What about this? What about that?
Right.
And you have to be careful because it's not always 100%. And if you have to kind of pass the smell test with ChatGPT, if you ask it something and it doesn't quite add up, especially some of the details down later in the answer, you got to go back and be careful. But this event came back, well, the press release from Robert Deves was fabulous. Charlie Crumbly there, former world champion, had this to say. Past world champion Charlie Crumbly, excuse me, not Crumbly, Cumbly. My R in the lower third is not correct. From Britain, quote, great first day to the World Championship. The Orca, that's that southerly that sweeps up Garda, well, from the south, came in 3 fleets. We were in the last fleet. Good bit of Brit racing, actually. Nick, Craig, won both races. I got a second and a third. Matt got a 5th and a second. James Downer was up in the first race. Now I am looking forward to a bit of a sit down. My legs hurt. My legs hurt, turns out, when the Orca comes in, but all good first night. Nice first day.
Mm-hmm. Nice report.
And nice video. What a fabulous venue.
Mm-hmm.
Great first day to the World Championship. The Orca came in, 3 fleets with the last fleet, and we had a good bit of Brit racing actually through the day. Nick won both races. I got a 2 and a 3. Matt got like a 5 and a 2. I think Jim Downer was up in the first race. So yeah, we had a good bit of Brit racing in that day. But looking forward to a little sit down actually after. My legs hurt, it turns out, when the Orca comes in. But all good. Yeah, nice first day.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, good day. Good day on the water. Bit of pin bias in the second race, which we all missed. Well, a lot of us missed. But, yeah, a lot of the good guys did. So, yeah, got a 6th and a, hopefully, back end... teens, early teens maybe, who knows, wait and see.
Yeah, I think I've had one of the best days of my life. It's been really amazing, you know, with super great infights, and I wasn't at the completely bottom of the field, but I'm moving up a little bit, and it's been amazing, super hard.
Okay, I've been on ChatGPT here, having a look, Julia, and for the OK Dinghy results, and OK DIA is the international class, of course, and this is what it returned. Let me see if I can expand that a bit. Can I expand that? I don't know if I can expand that. I guess you'll have to look at it fairly small, but highlights and early results. The 2025 OK Dinghy World Championship taking place 12-19. We knew that's the largest ever. Yeah, we knew that. Day one had 2 races. Winners included Nick Craig, Andrew Mills, Ben. So that's just regurgitating the press release. Mm-hmm. If you want, I can pull up the full rankings. I don't know why I'm always inclined to say yes, please, when I talk to ChatGPT.
I know, I do.
Huh?
I do that too. And
yes, please. And when I'm talking to Siri, it's just, my mother would be proud of me. So there, that's not today's results. If you like, I can try to dig up the full top 10. Forget about it. So you get the idea. It's just regurgitating press releases. I get my cursor back over here so I can change the slides in the show. But it does work. And this is a fabulous class, and as Alistair just said in the chat, it is maybe the best place he has ever sailed.
I spent part of the summer, about 10 summers there.
You did? Yeah. At Garda or Como?
Garda.
At Garda.
Because, that's a long story.
Okay, well, I've been there any number of times as well, but you and your late husband used to go there and hang out.
Yeah.
You did a lot of hanging out in your time, Julia.
I sure did.
At famous sailing places.
Yes.
OK Dinghy, another great example of real sailboat racing. Yeah, Alistair just above that saying best place I've ever sailed. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go to the website and go to Racing Rules, and the results are there. Just hard to find. Yeah, we all agreed that putting some kind of a something, Julia, right up on top of a website that says results on any class, any club website, just results. Not much more than that would be helpful, but ChatGPT is astonishingly good, as we've said. Just one more note here from this regatta from yesterday. Sophie Boel from Denmark, whom I don't know, but I've read about her in the past, one of 4 women competing. And she said, I think I've had one of the best days of my life. It's really amazing, some super great fights. I wasn't completely at the bottom of the field, but I was moving up a little bit. It's been really amazing, super hard. And, you come in from a race and you feel that way and you hang out with your friends and you have a glass of something. What an amazing sport. What a fabulous show.
Absolutely.
And is the sport is probably in decline a little bit. I mean, it clearly is from the 70s and 80s. And I've got this video from this guy, and he is from Michigan, by the way, who did this YouTube video about why is sailboat racing dying? It's not dying. Is it retrenching? Is it declining? Yeah, it is. And a lot of that is purely and simply demographics. It has nothing to do with our sport, except our sport has gotten far too expensive. The monopoly and the sail-making business and the boats and so on.
Yeah.
Boats and sails have gotten far too expensive. Yacht clubs and the access to water. We all know some of this stuff. But that's not the primary reason, in my opinion. The primary reason is there are many fewer kids around. There are just fewer kids, so you don't have crew. Everybody, I went through all of the comments on this guy's YouTube video last night.
Yeah.
And there are 600 comments.
Wow.
After he put this thing up from all around the world, New Zealand, Argentina, Europe, Australia, and so on.
Yeah.
And they're all saying, yeah, I agree. There's very few people that disagreed with the guy's premise that the sport is shrinking. But it's not dying. It's not dying. But there are fewer people. It's gotten so you don't have kids. People have trouble getting crews. Witness the rise of double-handed racing.
Yes.
And kids like my daughter, 32-year-old daughter Meg, they're struggling they bought themselves a house now. They're trying to hatch a kid, or they will. I think they're practicing at this point. I'm not sure they're trying yet. Trying probably not to have a kid quite yet until they digest the new condo in San Diego. But, it's tough. It's not like in the 60s and 70s, 60s at least, when a husband and wife could own a house, could afford a boat, with only probably the husband working. Maybe the wife worked, maybe not, or maybe the wife worked and the husband didn't, but that was pretty rare. So the sport is contracting or has contracted, but there's so much cool stuff going on. To say that it's dying is utterly and entirely Crutonic, in my opinion. Only the participants are dying, Tom. The main demographic is, well, that's a good point, too. And as Blake says at YZ Yacht Club, it's not even shrinking. They still have 124 boats racing the last Thursday evening race, Bravo Zulu. Rick Bannerow agrees. I'd call it contracting. It is demographics in poor psychographics.
Psychographics.
What's a psychographic, Julia?
What you think about it?
I didn't go to Stanford. What does that mean?
Gotta mean how you think about how it looks.
How it looks. Howdy from steamy Phoenix, Arizona. Tom Fishback is saying as we get to the last leg here, the last leg to Gloucester. And, of course, we have to cover Sail GP in the last leg, not because of what happened this past weekend, but previewing what's going to happen, Julia, this weekend in Geneva. That's why I'm covering it in the last leg.
Right.
And as you all know, we said on this show on Friday that there was, and, of course, the first day of racing was Friday, so they were race Friday, Saturday because they had to pack up and move the circus up to Geneva. Mm-hmm. More Mistral forecast. And I picked the Kiwis, and I was wrong because, as you know, Julia, there was no racing on Saturday. The Mistral, we were right about the Mistral.
Yep.
That was not a hard prediction to make. But we were wrong. You picked the Spanish just because you love the Spanish.
Yes.
And, of course, the Brits were leading at the end of the day Friday, so guess who won when the racing got called off on Saturday? The Brits.
The Brits.
Yeah, the Brits, Julia.
Yeah.
The Brits. Because there was no racing. So that was the standings. That was the final results with Dylan Fletcher on top in first, and then the Kiwis, the Black Foils, Pete Burling's team in second. And your team, Julia, Los Gallos. Gallos if you're Mexican, Spanish. Gallos if you're Castellano.
I'm not.
Gallos. The Gallos, the Spanish team, in third, and then on down the list. And sadly, Taylor Canfield's team had another not-so-stellar performance, second to last in 8-12, with finishes of 8-12, 9, and 7. But bravo Zulu to Dylan Fletcher and to his Emirates GBR team for winning, even though racing was truncated to one day. But they still had a hell of a good performance on Friday.
Mm.
Surprise this morning, waking up to a message saying we're not racing today. Right now it's looking like another stunning day in Saint-Tropez, but unfortunately there's some big storms coming through later, and due to the risk factor they're having to cancel racing for today. But the good news for us is that means we've taken out the event here.
Emirates GBR, Dylan Fletcher and company, take a bow.
Yeah, if you missed yesterday, it was an incredibly challenging day for us on the water. I think it would have looked great. We had the little wings on, some high speeds, but really difficult, shifty conditions. We managed to sort of keep street fighting our way through the racing to have what felt like a reasonable day, and then we came out top, I think, just because it was such an up and down day and tricky race course. Yeah, really looking forward to getting into Geneva. We've got a tight schedule. Had Saint-Tropez this weekend, Geneva next weekend, and then just 2 weeks after that we'll be in Cadiz, so it's a hectic schedule. We're looking forward to Geneva, different conditions, maybe some new boards, maybe some new rudders, so yeah, just looking forward to it, and hopefully we can build on this.
So a lot of you picked the Brits, and they did end up winning, not by default. They did a good job on Friday. And Andrew, Fog Machine, Lance Burke says, well, at least the USA didn't hit anything, Julia.
Oh.
Geneva could be anything. We'll see if the breeze does show up, and you never know in Geneva. And there's Greg Norman who's saying, yes, too much pressure to succeed is the main reason for numbers down. I'm not sure I buy that, Greg. I think that's certainly one of the reasons that the racing has become so professionalized and so serious that people go out, if they want to go out in their club and go out on a Wednesday night beer can, even the beer cans are getting so serious and so professionalized.
It's just too bad.
So I think that's Greg Norman's point.
Yeah.
Where else should we look here, Julia? I think on Lake Geneva, it's the headline today on the Sail GP website is Schneider, their skippers, and Saint-Tropez disappointment will fuel home performance in Geneva, he said, the Swiss skipper, Seb Schneider. Switzerland Sail GP team drivers, Seb Schneider says his team's disappointment in Saint-Tropez will provide extra motivation as they prepare for a landmark home debut at the inaugural Rolex Switzerland Sail Grand Prix in Geneva this coming weekend, back-to-back. It's only, I think, been done once before when they did back-to-back, remember, between L.A. and San Francisco, and had a lot of problems with the boats.
Yes.
Because they had not time to do full checks and repairs.
Yes, I remember that.
I hope they don't have the same problems here, especially after the windy racing they had on Friday in Saint-Tropez. For Schneider, bringing SailGP to Switzerland marks the fulfillment of a long-held ambition, he says. Quote, "It was always a goal of our team to bring an event to Switzerland. Every team wants a home event, but Geneva was extra challenging in terms of logistics, organizing an event on the lake in such it is a tight space. So having it all come together now is huge. Geneva adds new meaning to finishing in the chocolates, Julia." Oh, my goodness. So here is the preview video for Geneva. The fountain. This weekend in Geneva, the 20th and 21st, they're back to Saturday, Sunday. I don't know the starting time in the afternoon, presumably in the afternoon. Andrew, I'd love to get the USA team social media officer on the show because I know their stuff is croutonic. It's just sad how the stuff, but they got to turn stuff out for their sponsors. By the way, one hears.
Yes.
Apropos SailGP, Julia, one hears that there's a new American team coming. Not this team. This team may stay, in fact, that there's another team that's the new team coming next year may well be an American team.
Mm-hmm.
And it may involve American Magic. And that's why Harry Malgus IV, H4, has not gone over to the current American team. And that's why Terry Hutchinson and some others involved with American Magic are keeping their powder dry. I'm hearing from multiple sources now, so I can confirm this as a one hears.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, again, a one hears means I won't stake my life on it, but I'd probably bet the ranch on it. It's an American team coming, a second America team coming into SailGP next year. Maybe Doug DeVos will be the owner. What do you think of that, Julia? What do you think of that?
I think that's fine.
One other note here about the upcoming events. There are 3 left. There's one in Geneva, and then the DP World Spain Sail Grand Prix, Grand Prix in Andalusia, Cadiz, the 4th and 5th of October, and then they go to November 29, 30. They go to the Middle East to Abu Dhabi for the Mubadala Abu Dhabi Sail Grand Prix, the 2025 season Grand Finale. Greg Normand is confirming my one hears. He's saying it's certainly really true. We heard that the last 2 weekends at the GL 52s, the Great Lakes 52 regattas, where he has been hanging out. No, Rob Fry, I do not believe it's Sweden. Could be Sweden coming in ultimately. Life versus ranch bet, eh, Tom? Yeah, Blake Middleton. But that's what one hears. And anybody that's got other information, please ping me. I would appreciate it. Jamie Hutchinson says, wow, fantastic. So you heard it here first, and we do this, have some one hears from time to time.
Yes.
And we do this, we're in 2 hours and 20 minutes. What's wrong with my clock? Those clocks are croutonic, Julia.
Yes, they are.
Because it's 19 minutes after 3 here. Those clocks are croutonic.
Who's the clock keeper?
Well, what I have to do is I have to go in, and I'm going to do it now just for good, or not reboot. No, for sure not. My God. If I rebooted, we had all sorts of croutonicism. But I have to go in and reboot the website that follows those clocks, which I will do afterwards, because you would think poorly of me.
Yes.
If I rebooted those clocks and somehow knocked us off the air. A time warp.
Yes.
those clocks come off of a website, and you can see it's clearly frozen, and it's been frozen since shortly after we went to air at 2 o'clock. We do this every Tuesday and Friday at 1300 Pacific. Thank you for joining us. We're about 2 hours and 20 minutes into the show, a little longer than usual, but we are now well and truly, Julia, to the D block, which I know you appreciate, and your favorite friend, the most interesting man in the world, who heads up Whiskey Tango Foxtrot for us. Warning, I may start talking about sailing at any time. All of us should probably post that in our outside of our dining room table. Yes. Maybe it's the right place. Ed Worley sent that, Julia. Clean, nice.
Yep.
Speaking of sailing memes or posters, you don't stop sailing because you're old. You get old when you stop sailing.
No question.
We've seen other versions of that in the past, and that came from Greg Phillips.
Yeah.
But because, again, this is a drinking show with a sailing habit, drinking can cause memory loss, or even worse, memory loss. Short-term memory loss, Julia.
Oh, yes.
Peter Taylor sent that, and I thought it was a nice segue to our last slide. Speaking of certain smart people, I don't know if he was a drinker or not. Do you know if Einstein was a drinker?
I've never heard that.
He was a sailor.
Yes.
He was a sailor, so I think that's why we can use. I used to think drinking was bad for me, so I gave up thinking. Ted Ryman sent a clean one, Julia. A clean one.
Okay.
And then, of course, this last one we end on, always with Einstein, courtesy of Blake. All the smartest people sail. Joe Holtzman says, that is so true. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate your coming along. That gets us to the finish line for this show number 866, celebrating Paul Cayard's win at age 66 in the Star Worlds.
Yeah.
And Julia, you like to say...
Yes. Tell everybody you know. Like, follow, and share.
Indeed, and that comments are welcome, even, excuse me, in replay. You know, I don't know if anybody noticed I switched my coffee cup. Did you notice that? During the show?
I didn't.
Well, you and I have these from a long time ago when we called this show TFE Live.
Right.
Before it was Sailing Illustrated. We just shortened it. But that cup sweats, and I was getting... Because it's really warm in here today. We're having the warmest week we're going to have all year.
This is the warmest day all year.
This is today?
Yeah, the day. Because it's going to be 77 or something in San Francisco.
Oh, 77. And so warm.
Usually 63.
Well, it's warm here in the studio, and my cup was this cup.
Sweating.
Oh, that's such a crude word. It was perspiring, Julia. My cup was perspiring. Right. So I poured my coffee. By the way, those of you, I'm not shilling for these, but we should probably have some of these made up with Sailing Illustrated logos on them and then make them available for the...
Yeah.
I have a couple of these without burgees on them. Claire sent me a couple of these from New York Yacht Club after a favor I did for her a year ago or something. But these insulated cups... They got two layers, an inner and outer skin. And if you have these things, whether it's for a hot drink, it keeps it hot, or a cold drink, it keeps it cold without perspiring, Julia. They do not perspire. And they're, look at that. You can even put a burgee on them.
And put our burgee on it.
We should.
Confuse everybody.
Tom, your cup glows. It does not sweat or even perspire. It glows. Thank you very. Horses sweat, men perspire, and women glow. Commodore Harrington.
Claire.
Claire's got it right.
Yep.
And thank you to everybody who gives us a few bucks to keep us on the air so we can have a studio and we can have all these fun and the silliness that we do. Yes. But we appreciate very much those of you who give us a few bucks a month via Patreon, or send us a check in the mail, or send us a bottle of booze like Clayton Embley does here, the Bourbon Cream. We haven't used that in a while, Julia. Patreon.com/join/Sailing Illustrated. We appreciate very much all of you who support us and become patrons.
We've gotten a couple notices recently that they've upped our rating on Facebook. Because
it must be your smiling face.
Well, they like the content.
Well, we are.
And because quality content and more people.
Well, more and more people watching, but also there aren't very many shows that get so many comments. We get 250, 300, 400 comments per show.
Yeah.
And across all the platforms, way more than that.
Yeah.
So great stuff. Thanks, everybody. And thanks to everybody who gave us audio, video, and images for today's show. Julia, any final thoughts?
Let's keep going.
Let's stay cool as it gets warm here. We're going to have summer, finally. We had one day of summer so far, and now we're going to have 4 or 5 days of summer. Thanks, everybody. Hope you have a great rest of your week. We'll see you at the same time and same channel on Friday. We hope to anyway. Thank you very much for joining us today. And go sailing.
Indeed.
Go sailing, right, Julia?
Absolutely.
Sail fast, sail safe.
Have fun.
And have fun. Ciao for now.